Well, our commentators, of course, can make all the notes they want on the history and the players, but how do you legislate for the 21 men scraps and the kicked water bottles when it comes to ties between Arsenal and Manchester United? Well, let's find out and get straight to our commentary here for our second live commentary game today, and that's with Simon Brotherton, Lee Dixon and first Mike Ingham.
Well, thank you, Colin, and just to underline that there is a world away from football and the intensity of Arsenal against Manchester United. A couple of things to tell you. First of all, the players came out today wearing red tracksuit tops, and today here is Lace Up Save Lives Project Day, and a lot of the players are wearing red laces in their boots as well. The idea is to raise funds for those suffering with HIV in Africa. And the other thing is, I can't lip read here, but there was a moment down below before the teams came out where I saw Cesc Fabregas make his way over to Edwin van der Sar and put his arm around him, and clearly would have been saying something to him, hoping that his wife is getting better from her recent horrendous illness. So anyway, the game is underway now, well, it will be shortly. And Lee, just looking at it first of all from Arsenal's point of view, there is this scenario here that I don't want to be too much of a Jonah, but if Arsenal lose today and then Chelsea win in midweek and then they go to Chelsea next week, and if they were to mess that up as well, they're out of the title race, aren't they? 11 points adrift.
It would certainly look that way. I think we've ruled them out after the Chelsea game last time, and obviously leading up to that game, it's very important, Chelsea winning yesterday, that they're almost playing catch-up again today, and you don't want to be playing catch-up when you're playing a team like Manchester United. This Manchester United team will be full of energy today. They've got some legs in midfield, and they've got the bit between the teeth to come to the Emirates and get something. Will be on Sir Alex Ferguson's mind very much so.
Well, the lineups look like this. They've both made two changes from their last encounters. Arsenal, with this little team they have today, Ramsey and Eduardo out. Eduardo's got an injury. Song, and what a bonus for them that Cameroon didn't get any further in the African Cup. Song returns. Nasri, who got a couple of goals in the fixture here last season, plays as well. The Arsenal lineup: Almunia, Sagna, Vermaelen and Gallas, who started every Premier League game this season, crucially together again. Clichy, there was a doubt obviously about Vermaelen. Then Denilson and Song, the two holding midfield players. Rosicky, the leading goal scorer, Fabregas, Nasri and Arshavin. Arshavin doesn't enjoy playing on his own up front, but he might have to do that here today. Manchester United then, two changes. Ferdinand suspended, Brown's in. Park for Giggs. The lineup is Van der Sar, Raphael, Brown, Evans and the captain Evra. Fletcher, Carrick, Scholes, Park, Rooney and Nani. The referee is Chris Foy, and in terms of where it's going to be the biggest battle of all out there, I think for me the key to this game is going to be Darren Fletcher against Cesc Fabregas. And remember, the last time these two sides met in this stadium, United won 3-1, but it turned out to be a terrible night for Darren Fletcher, who was harshly sent off and missed the Champions League final. So we're ready. The big question of all, though, here is, has Arsene Wenger been given glasses so he can watch it in 3D? Away we go. Arsenal playing from left to right. Ball into the United area. Arshavin and against Evans straight away, and clearly Arsenal will need to keep the ball down on the ground. Arsenal going forward once more. Evans cuts out the through pass to Arshavin, and Evra clears up to the halfway line. So here we are at the Emirates Stadium on a chilly but dry Sunday afternoon for what is always one of the fixtures of any Premier League season. Arsenal against Manchester United. Vermaelen finding Gallas, and Sol Campbell, not even on the bench today, is sitting down below watching the match. The substitute central defender is the former Manchester United man Mikel Silvestre. Arsenal immediately trying to get into a passing rhythm here. Manchester United really haven't had the ball meaningfully yet. Fabregas turning away from Paul Scholes. Here comes Cesc Fabregas looking to play some 1-2s. United now will clear, and the ball trickles back to Van der Sar.
I think you'll find that would be the shape of the first 10 minutes of the game, the fact that most of the players been in the central part of the pitch. If you look at the forward players, Arshavin for Arsenal and Rooney for Manchester United, similar sort of players in the fact that they like it to feet. They won't threaten too much behind, straight from a long ball, so most of the play is going to be in that middle third, and we've got a few people in there who like a tackle as well, and Scholes has had a couple already.
Mistake by Carrick. Alex Ferguson, Sir Alex is already out into that technical area. Wants his team to start well here, and he's trying to encourage them. from the sideline, little flick from Rosicky, given the ball away. That game, by the way, here in the Champions League, when it was the Ronaldo show in the end after Park gave Manchester United the lead, Arsenal's back four that night included Giroud and Gibbs and Toure. This is a much stronger back four today, as United now look to press down that right-hand side. Rooney finds Nani. Nani faced by Clichy. Nani trying to get the ball in, he can't, Clichy's in the way, and the ball comes back to Manchester United's midfield and Paul Scholes. Scholes now for Carrick. United trying to get some momentum going now. Evans just inside the Arsenal half. Long ball to the far side, to the man in the yellow boots, who's Nani. Nani, flavour of the month it seems at the moment at Manchester United. Arsenal dispossess Nani and Denilson brings the ball out. Inevitably finds Fabregas. Fabregas looking to play the ball over the top, and Arshavin's there. There's nobody in the penalty area. Can Arshavin cut this ball back for Arsenal? From the angle it's gone wide, and the problem there was that Nasri, Rosicky and Fabregas couldn't get in there to give Arshavin a target.
Well, it was a good ball from Fabregas. It was one of those balls that I said before the game that Arsenal needed to try and threaten behind the back four, and I think it was Brown missed the header and Arshavin was away, cut back on his right foot but no support. He broke so quickly nobody could really get up and support him, and in the end it was a weak shot.
Lee Dixon with us here today at the Emirates Stadium, as there's a misunderstanding at the back there between Song and Fabregas. They both challenge for the same ball and the ball breaks back to the Arsenal defenders, and it's Vermaelen. Arsenal 0, Manchester United 0. When we came here before Christmas and saw Chelsea win so comprehensively, Arsenal didn't look to have any chance at all of the title race. Different now. Nasri, high ball to the far post, and that wasn't really well delivered for Rosicky. And it's a goal kick to Manchester United. Arsenal, since that Chelsea defeat, 10 games unbeaten in the Premier League.
It does look like they're trying to focus their attention down their left-hand side with Nasri and Fabregas, maybe concentrating on Raphael, and maybe the little weakness, they've seen a little weakness in the right back, because 2 or 3 times now they've tried to get in, and that was too easy to get in behind the full back there.
Ball is kept in by Nasri over on the far side, and now it's back to Wes Brown, and that was an option which has been denied through Alex Ferguson, playing Brown at right back because of Ferdinand's suspension and O'Shea's injury. Rooney now turning over on the right hand side. Nani getting quite a lot of the early ball here for Manchester United. Nani on the edge of the penalty area, doesn't really deliver, and Arsenal looking to counter-attack. Denilson now for Nasri, back again to Denilson. Notice that the French manager Raymond Domenech is here today, and Nasri will be clearly one of the players that he will be watching as he prepares for the World Cup. It's a throw, and another one too, has the ball right now. Clichy, the Arsenal left back. Remember, it was a mistake by the Arsenal left back Gibbs which let in Manchester United for that first goal here in the Champions League back in May. Evans now finding Park inside the centre circle. Park onto Fletcher for about the first time now. Fletcher finding Nani. Nani's early ball in towards Rooney, but it'll be cleared by William Gallas, and it comes straight back again into the Manchester United midfield. Carrick now looking for the run from Fletcher, cut out by Clichy for Arsenal into the centre circle. Better now suddenly from Manchester United, but 0-0 early moments here in North London. Evra just in front of us down this near side, going in against Rosicky, and the referee's given a free kick against Evra, and that's just a couple of yards from the halfway line down the Arsenal right near side.
It was interesting just going back to the full-back position, Manchester United. If I was a full-back for Man United, if I was Evra, I'd be more happy the fact that I've got Park in front of me working that left side, because he's quite defensive-minded. When they lose the ball, he works very hard, and as a right back I wouldn't be so pleased of having Nani, because when they lose the ball he's not that keen on getting back and putting that cover on in front of your full-back. That's probably why Arsenal have got in a couple of times down that left side, because Nani's more attack-minded.
Now that wasn't very clever, I didn't think, from Arsenal. They had a free kick and they just lumped it high to Nasri, who didn't have any chance at all in the air there against the defender, and they really will need to keep it down on the floor.
I think that was mis-hit. It must have been a mis-hit. Sometimes when you try and ping it into the striker's feet,
lovely ball by Fabregas, and sorry Lee,
goes, it's okay. Yeah. It goes a little bit high and it balloons on you, and I don't think that was intentional, Mike, to be honest with you. If it was really bad.
Actually, just on Domenech again, as Arshavin can't get past the United defenders. Of course, he can make the comparison today between Evra and Clichy, the two left backs both playing, and now Clichy's going to get stretched maybe down that far side, the right. Nani on the ball, approaching the penalty area. Nani lays it into Fletcher. Fletcher right across for Rooney, and Arsenal defend well. First real flash of danger there from Manchester United, And now it's back with the home side, with Song but given away. Carrick now to Scholes. Arsenal 0, Manchester United 0, here in this late afternoon in North London. Scholes once more. Scholes with a high ball forward towards Rooney, and Gallas can let that sail away once more, and that's going to go behind for a goal kick to Arsenal. So some early thoughts from Lee Dixon, 7 minutes gone.
That was a good move from Manchester United down that right side, and that was mainly because Clichy had pushed on to try and support Nasri, as we said, going forward down that left side, and Nani not getting back and going back with his full-back, and hence when Arsenal lost the ball, Nani was free and played a little move down the side of the Arsenal defence, and good ball into the box. That was a good effort from Manchester United.
Good noise building here around us as Wayne Rooney now chips the ball to the right-hand side, looking for the pace of Nani, who's got away from Clichy. Danger here for Arsenal. Nani now into the near post. Almunia has lost it, and Arsenal scrape it away in the end through Song. Explosive play from Manchester United, and really using the pace at the moment down that right-hand side of Nani.
See, that's poor defending from Clichy in the end, because when the ball was played out wide, he made the run to try and cut the winger off, and when you know as a fullback you're not going to get there, you've got to then cut the goal off. He dived in, Nani had a little yard on him and got round him, and again another dangerous ball into the 6-yard box.
Well, Nani looked right out of sorts a month or two ago, but he's relishing his role in the United team at the moment. He's got a corner kick to this near side, the left-hand side, headed down and eventually thumped away by William Gallas. Nobody really came to terms with that corner, and Manchester United go steaming in once more. Fletcher it was, and now the ball to Nani, who stayed on this left-hand side following the corner. Nani's ball into the near post, and Almunia makes this time, unchallenged, a comfortable save, and throws out immediately to Arshavin, and Arshavin gets away from Raphael. Arshavin over on the Arsenal left, needs some support to join in now from midfield. Arshavin gets a bit tangled up, then comes the challenge from Wes Brown, and Manchester United standing firm there. Arshavin, again, almost too quick for his own good there, really, because nobody was able to reinforce and help.
It's a problem I never had, being too quick for my own good. Everyone caught up with me pretty quick, I tell you. But again, it's the full-back, the right-back again, Raphael, slightly over-enthusiastic to try and get a tackle in. Sometimes you can get too tight to your marker, and he just needed to drop off there, and he didn't. He dived in. Well, a little bit inexperienced there.
Yeah, he had problems against Craig Bellamy in those Carling Cup legs of the semi-final. Raphael did score here last season in the defeat against Arsenal, and by the way, after that defeat by Arsenal, it was then when United went on, they embarked on a run of 14 Premier League games without conceding a goal, until Roque Santa Cruz finally put one past them. That run lasted for about 3 months. Here today, Arsenal 0, Manchester United 0, and we played nearly 10 minutes of the first half. Manchester United started a little poorly, but now they're getting into much more of the routine. Ball is back with Van der Sar, and Nani's taking the eye in the Ronaldo position, wide on the right-hand side.
Well, they've had the best two chances, 2 balls into the box, both from that right-hand side, and caused problems in the 6-yard box of Arsenal. Arsenal had a bit of possession, but not really created anything.
Long ball downfield from Van der Sar, straight through to the other keeper. Well, Nani being given a run. I heard Mark Lawrenson say from the Manchester City game he was surprised that Valencia wasn't playing today, but Nani's begun brightly with Park on the left, Giggs on the bench, Owen and Berbatov are also on the bench today for Manchester United, and for Arsenal, Nicholas Bentner, who hasn't featured in the Premier League since the end of October, he's also on the bench and could have a part to play perhaps in the later stages of this game. Nasri now over on the left-hand side, up against Raphael. Back now with Clichy, long ball from Clichy, down the line, flicked on by Arshavin into Fabregas. Scholes trying to get it away from Fabregas. Scholes doing well in the right back position, turns, needs help. Evans is there now in the penalty area to bring the ball out for a Manchester United defence missing both Vidic and Ferdinand. Now, nicely played by Fletcher to the captain on the day, Everett, near side. That looked as if it was out of play. Arsene Wenger appeals for the throw-in, and it's been given by the linesman. Throw into Arsenal just in front of Arsene Wenger, to be taken by Sagna.
Paul Scholes did brilliantly well there at that almost right back position again. Raphael pushed in, the run from Fabregas into the hole, and the veteran, shall we call him, Paul Scholes, saw the danger and got back really well. Not only just kicked the ball out of play, then kept possession and forced Arsenal to back off.
Vermaelen crosses the halfway line for the first time. He likes to do that whenever there's a a possibility. Nasri now to Rosicky. Vermaelen's now just retreated a little, but he's got the ball. On now to the Brazilian Denilson. Arsenal with this little intricate one-touch stuff. It's a bit tight for them. They come to this near side now in Sagna. Back again to Denilson. No Arsenal player in the area. Nasri doesn't control it, and it's gone through. And I just keep noticing French players all over the pitch here for Dominic to watch. Gallas, obviously, Sagna too. I'm not surprised the French manager is here today watching this game. Arsenal 0, Manchester United 0. 12 minutes gone in the first half. Nani jumping well over on the right-hand side. He's giving Clichy quite a few problems here. Now Rooney comes deep, gets away from his marker. Fletcher feeds Park. Park down the left-hand side. There's a United player lying injured over on the far side. It might be Nani. Ball on the edge of the Arsenal area. Scholes now retrieves. Scholes onto Carrick. Nani's back on his feet again. It's Raphael, 15 yards inside the Arsenal half. United passing the ball well here. Park turned dangerously, but Arsenal looking to clear. Arsenal now again, there's a big gap between the midfield and Arshavin. Arshavin going forward though, taking Wes Brown with him. Wes Brown sticking tight, but Arshavin's allowed to turn. Oh, and in the end Van der Sar, did he make the save? It's gone wide. But Arshavin turned Brown inside out, and that's Arsenal's best moment.
How well did he do there, Arshavin, because he was 2v1 on the edge of the half. He made a little run just to give himself a little yard, and when Brown didn't go tight behind him, he turned. And once you turn and let this guy run at you, he's got pace, he's got tricky feet. Brown in the end dropped off, and once he gets in the box, he can't make the tackle. He should have forced him outside the box, but he didn't, and then Arshavin got his shot away.
And having seen the replay, Van der Sar was actually quite a long way away from it in the end, and Fergie's complaining presumably about a foul he thought on Nani earlier, but it's now Paul Scholes with the drop kick. And that's not going to stay in for Park, and it's a throw into Arsenal down this near side. 13 and a half minutes gone. 5 Live Sport here at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 0, Manchester United 0. Fabregas just manages to get enough on the ball to find Denilson, and now it's Vermaelen. A lot of height. Again, I think it wasn't intended. Raphael's header back. Nani onto continuing to play the head tennis. When it comes down on the ground, which is where Arsenal prefer it, it's Rosicky now bustling forward into Nasri. Nasri trying to hold off the defenders. Nasri turns and shoots in the end quite softly, and there are groans accompanying the shot from the Arsenal fans at the end of all that. A Manchester United goal kick. Lee.
Yeah, Arsenal just starting to get their midfield passing game a little bit tighter. They missed a few passes early on, but now they're starting to find the feet. You just feel that if Manchester United get enough players back, it's very difficult to break two banks of 4 down. Scholes is dropping in there as well. It's very difficult to pass through him. So you think that maybe hit him on a break, Manchester United, but Arshavin doesn't want to run behind. He wants it to feet. And that's the problem at times. And I just think at the moment Manchester United are quite comfortable getting everybody back and letting them pass in front of them.
Well, Sagna went diving in there on Park and concedes the free kick, and I just wonder whether Arsenal eventually might become a more effective formation once Bentner, if he does come into the game, just to give them a target man for the little guys to feed off. But Bentner not starting yet, he's on the bench, still could have a part to play. It's Manchester United take a free kick, and they've taken it short, and they roll the ball across the field to their right hand side, and Nani linking up with Raphael. Raphael got the call from Carrick, and Carrick gives it back to United, but they're now back inside their own half. It's 0-0 here. We played 15 minutes of the first half here at the Emirates Stadium, and then a misjudged header by Patrice Evra slides the ball out of play for an Arsenal throw.
Just going back to how we look at Arsenal playing and everything, we seem to be sort of moaning at them and criticising them. They play some extraordinarily beautiful football, and actually with this formation of Arshavin up front, they haven't done too bad, have they?
No.
We forget that.
Well, they're always going to give problems to Brown and Evans on the ground, of course, and here comes Arshavin now linking once more with Rosicky. Rosicky didn't really give Song much of a chance there, and now Nani's been caught. The challenge by Song goes down very dramatically. Sir Alex Ferguson already unhappy with an earlier challenge on Nani, made his point quite clear, and now we're going to get some action, I think, from referee Chris Foy. Do you have an opportunity to see any of that, Lee?
Well, I mean, from here we've got a reasonably decent view. It looked like he won the ball. It was a 50-50 challenge. His foot didn't seem that high. I think the ball was off the ground, which perhaps made it look as if he put his foot up. And I think the referee gave the decision later, slightly late, when he saw Song. There's nothing wrong with that. We've just seen the replay. They both put the foot on the ball. Song cleared the ball and then he stood on Nani's foot. It could have been quite easily the other way around. That's a 50-50 challenge, and I think Chris Foy's been fooled there by Nani's throw to the ground. But yes, it probably did hurt, but I don't think that's a foul.
And also the fact that moments before then, I know there's not supposed to be any communication from the sideline to referee, but Sir Alex Ferguson was making it quite clear that he was upset about a previous challenge on Nani. Anyway, Song yellow card, first of the game. Remember, 9 yellow cards the last time these two sides met, when Arsene Wenger accused Manchester United of playing anti-football in that particular game. And the game will restart, and of course Nani's all right. He'll come back on again over on the far side, and the action moves towards this near side. Scholes jumps away from the challenge from Song, then it's hit long by Evans, but Nani's not there, and that wasn't very bright from Evans. Now he's back on again. The ball is out of play.
Mike, it probably did hurt because he did stand on his feet. These boots these days are made of tissue paper, so any sort of stud contact, it really does hurt. The big things we used to play in, you could kick a brick wall with them and it wouldn't hurt, but I just feel that it was a 50-50 challenge, and the referee was conned a little bit there.
It's very tight, very bunched up over on that far side for Raphael. Now Scholes hits a long one, looking once more for Nani to jump with Clichy. When the ball drops, Song is in, and the referee decides to give a free kick to Arsenal, and they've taken it immediately. Fabregas moves the ball on to Arshavin. That's a great challenge coming in from Wes Brown. It's a throw to Arsenal over on the far side. Rugged as ever, this game, still 0-0. Arsenal building back inside their own half once more, and it's Alex Song on the halfway line. Alex Song onto Rosicky. That looked like a foul by Evra. In goes a lunging challenge from Evans, and suddenly it's getting nice and spiky. It's a free kick to Arsenal. This is the way we like it.
Well, I think Brown made a decision on the far side on Arshavin that he's been done a couple of times with Arshavin coming off, turning and running at him. So when he got it to feet that last time, he went straight in. No different than the Song challenge on Nani, and the referee just give a throw in. So Mr. Foy's got to be consistent.
Fabregas with the free kick, and in the end, although Gallas was moving in on it, it dropped kindly to Van der Sar, who doesn't hold on to it for very long at all. Nani's back in possession down the right-hand side, full of running, of course. Scholes, who got a good position as ever in central midfield, away from his markers. Now Patrice Evra. Evra onto Carrick. Carrick normally does things smoothly. That's a pass, this time straight forward to Scholes, and now Rooney coming very deep. Rooney drops the ball back to Evra. United building slowly here. Across it goes to the far side. So now we may get a bit more pace. Injection from Nani. Nani's early ball into the area. Vermaelen's there and doesn't clear well. Straight up in the air. Now he'll have to challenge Wayne Rooney. Rooney nudges the ball back to Fletcher. Fletcher's just ushered out of the penalty area by Arsenal defenders. Manchester United still looking to press. Scholes linking, and then United give the ball away. Arsenal on the counter-attack. Fabregas runs a very long way with the ball. Evades the challenge from Scholes. He's got Arshavin on the left. Arshavin shoots. No, he doesn't. Onto Fabregas. And Evans will clear for Manchester United. It was a complete mess in the end by Arshavin, but it's still almost sat up for Fabregas, and Manchester United at full stretch clear.
What a fabulous break that was from Arsenal, and in the end Arshavin's shot, he almost double hit it, but there was a brilliant run from Nasri on the overlap. As Arshavin gets the ball, if he just waits, slips it outside to Nasri, he's in, but he completely missed it. That in the end Manchester United did well to get people back.
20 minutes gone.
Fresh air shot.
It's building now, and it's a fascinating spectacle, in particular, to see these little men from Arsenal shuttling forward with their great pace, trying to get forward, trying to help each other up against these big defenders at the back from Manchester United. Brown and Evans, when United themselves go forward, Nani's really flying down that right-hand side. It's all coming from him, really. And Rooney's coming deep at times, trying to move the defenders into areas they don't want to go. And now it's back again to Van der Sar.
Well, he's got to come short, Mike, because there's no real space in midfield. So when the ball goes long, he can't really threaten them in the air, the two centre-backs. So he's searching for the ball. And when he does come into that midfield, as I said, it's really tight. And we haven't really mentioned Rooney's name very often, but that's kind of dangerous for an Arsenal point of view, because he's the kind of player you don't need to mention very often and he'll score a goal.
And Nani's currently the pantomime villain here with the crowd, and it's Arsenal, the home side, moving it on from Frenchman to Frenchman, Gallas to Sagna, and now Fabregas turns into trouble. Oh, and he's got a free kick. Free kick is given to Arsenal, 25 yards out to the right as we look at it. Nearly 21 and a half minutes gone in the first half. Now, there's not a lot of height in this Arsenal team, as we've been mentioning, but here's a chance at least for Gallas and Vermaelen to try and get on the end of this set piece.
Well, Song's half decent in the air as well. He's making his way up there, so they've got 3 to aim at, and the rest of them are probably supporting acts, hoping the ball drops on the floor.
Well, in the air, United should deal with this, but Fabregas is perched over the ball, and in goes the kick, and it's Evans who gets a flick out of the penalty area, and Carrick chases to the far side, and he's kept the ball in. Otherwise that would have been an Arsenal throw over the far side.
That was a lazy free kick, wasn't it, Mike? I mean, Fabregas is more quality than that. He's in a great position, whip the ball into the space.
United again on the break, and Clichy this time up against Park and not Nani, and Clichy clears, kept it in play as well. Raphael goes in with a flying challenge, goes for the return ball, and it's out of play. So at the halfway point of the first half, you sense that there's quite a lot still to happen in this game. Here's Simon Brotherson.
Thank you, Mike. Arsene Wenger said we're not the same team now, we're a different animal, comparing now with the Champions League semi-final last May, and it's certainly been a very different game so far, hasn't it?
It has. They've had a lot of possession, Arsenal, and they broke down that their left-hand side. But they've just got to be a little bit wary of Manchester United down that right side with Nani, because he's been Manchester United's most influential player so far going forward.
Tell you what though, Nani's gone a bit quiet the last 5 or 10 minutes after that clonking from Alex Song in midfield, and Arsenal on the attack on the right with Rosicky, up to the edge of the penalty area with Sagna, plays it in low, off the heel of Nasrin, away and out of the penalty area, and Fabregas is so frustrated he leans over and beats his hand against the grass as Manchester United bring the ball up to the other end of the field.
It looked like Nasri let it go through his legs, thinking Fabregas was behind him, but Fabregas has made the little run forward and completely fooled the Spaniard with that over. 5
Live Sport from the BBC. We're live at the Emirates Stadium in North London. It's Arsenal 0, Manchester United 0. Earlier today, Manchester City beat Portsmouth by 2-0, and this one's warming up nicely. Arsenal attacking on the left-hand side with Nasri, now fully recovered from his hamstring injury of a couple of weeks ago. Forward towards Gallas, 30 yards out, it's a pile driver, but it goes higher and higher as it heads towards the goal, and it lands towards the back of the lower tier of the stand behind the goal. Let's get the latest on the Africa Cup of Nations final in Luanda. Egypt are playing Ghana. Alex Capstick.
We played 23 minutes, it's Ghana 0, Egypt 0, a little bit tepid here, typical final I guess, very cagey opening, no real chances. Ahmed Hassan, the Egyptian captain, winning his 172nd cap today. He's had a couple of shots which sailed high over the bar. Dede Ayew fired wide for Ghana, but it's 0-0.
172nd cap. If he keeps them all, he must barely be able to open the front door, I reckon. Ball midway inside Manchester United's half with Johnny Evans. Evans clears it high, long, right-footed into no man's land. It sails away on the far side, and Manuel Almunia goes chasing after it and collects the ball. It's going to be a goal kick to Arsenal here, and I just wondered in the first quarter of an hour of the match, Lee, we were saying before the game that Arsenal didn't really have what you would call an out-and-out striker, a focal point as such, and Arshavin was the key, but his pace was taking him too far in front of everyone else, and most of his attacks were wide on the left-hand side, which meant there was nobody in the centre.
That's right, and because of his speed and the speed of his breaks, sometimes the midfield players can't keep up with him. But he has been in the game, that's the main thing, as opposed to Rooney on the other end, who Manchester United find it very difficult to get in the game. There's no real support for him. Who's the player who's going to get up there with him? Is it Scholes? Scholes looks like he's quite happy to stay in that midfield, like all the midfield players do for United. Maybe Park can support Rooney a little bit, because he's not really in the game in the danger area, the last third.
Well, it's the third game Scholes has started in a week for Manchester United, so he'll be feeling a bit leggy perhaps. Up towards the edge of the penalty area, Fletcher goes in, now it's Park, right hand edge of the box, tries to Tony the cross, it's blocked by Vermaelen and hooked away by Danielson out of the penalty area. Fabregas gets behind the ball, but it's Fletcher who rolls it forward, Scholes inside the box, good block there by Gallas, nudges it out to the left hand edge of the box, and it's away and into touch by Gaël Clichy.
Fabulous little ball down the side to Scholes, who broke into that box trying to support Rooney, and in the end Gallas came across, good defending, but a little dangerous moment there for Manchester United.
Absolutely, United all in black on the attack into the penalty area. Rooney tries it on the turn, and diving to his right, making the save is Almunia. Rooney was by the right hand angle of the 6-yard box, but I don't think he really got any power behind it. Forward come Arsenal over the halfway line with Song, rolls it in towards Arshavin, and Evans inadvertently knocks it back towards his goalkeeper. Arshavin picks himself up. Manchester United have the ball.
See, there's that Arshavin position again. He comes off the centre-back, and if the centre-back goes with him, because there's no real danger behind, he can go as tight as he wants, because he knows he's got his other centre-half there as cover, and nobody threatening, a midfield player running behind him, so he can go as tight as he wants, and Arshavin is going to take kicks all day if he keeps coming short and not spinning the hole every now and again, just to make the defender aware that that's a possibility.
Well, he's a tough old customer, isn't he, the Russian? Manchester United on the attack on the left, midway inside the Arsenal half of the field. 5 Live Sport, 27 minutes played. Arsenal 0, Manchester United 0. United switching the play away towards the right, and Raphael, ball in, it's cut out by Danielson, who has work to do. Nani with a shot, and Nani puts it behind and wasn't too far away, but the flag is up. Bob Pollock quick with the flag over on the far side. It's an Arsenal free kick.
That's better from Manchester United. 5 players in the end in the box there, and Nani just pulled his shot wide, but I saw Scholes played the ball out to Nani, and then his first thought was, can I get in the box and do some attacking for once, and as I said, they got 5 in the box there and they were unlucky.
More than Tottenham in recent years, is this the game for Arsenal, Manchester United?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Derby game's a big game, but you ask the players when the fixtures come out. I said to Colin before, even if United have been, or Arsenal have been off the pace of the last few years, it's the first result fixture the players look for.
Well, it seemed until the last 5 or 6 years that Arsenal and Manchester United were almost obsessed with each other, weren't they, in the race to lift the Premier League title. 0-0 here.
Certainly the managers were.
Yeah, ball played forward. Rooney midway inside the Arsenal half, lays it back to Carrick. Lovely ball along the grass from Carrick out to Park Ji-sung in space on the left. His cross isn't quite so good. Danielson stoops and heads it clear. Head centre of midfield with Carrick, rolls it forward into the penalty area. Nani right hand side, and diving in and making the block was Thomas Vermaelen, and that was why it's so important for Arsenal that he was fit and able to play today.
That's 3 times now in the last 5 minutes that Manchester United have threaded those balls inside the full-back and down the side of the centre-half for a player to make that little slidey run, and they've got in 3 times, and that time another good bit of defending from the centre-back. But if I was him, I'd want my full-backs to come a little bit narrower and say, give me some cover down the edge of the box when we're on the 18-yard line.
Ball in the middle third, and Nani flicks it forward. Danielson's there, short little interchange with Fabregas, edge of the centre circle, square now to Alex Song. Arsenal kicking from left to right as we look from behind the dugouts here at the back of the lower tier in the Emirates Stadium. Rosicky, long sleeve jersey, rolls the ball away to the left hand side to Gael Clichy. Clichy forward to Samir Nasri, who's been a little bit quiet for 10 minutes or so. Infield now to Alex Song. Song 35 yards out. He ghosts past Carrick, still going, nudges it forward towards Fabregas delicately, who was running into the penalty area. Didn't quite roll for him, not once, not twice. And Johnny Evans just thumps it into the third row of the crowd in front of us.
Yeah, a good bit of pressure. That's what they need to do, Arsenal, to try and get this Manchester United team on the back foot. And, you know, they can score at any moment, this team. Asking Manchester United with Rooney.
Sanya adjudged to have been a little over-enthusiastic in his duel with Park Ji-sung in the Manchester United half on the Arsenal right. It's a free kick to United, left full-back position, which Johnny Evans, I think, is going to take. He's in a long-distance conversation with Edwin van der Sar at the moment and decides to leave it for the tall Dutchman. United's defence has had a calmer air, hasn't it, since van der Sar came back for that Burnley match 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Makes a big difference, you know, when you've got a goalkeeper that you don't really hear. You just know he's there, he's got a presence about him. A little bit like David Seaman when I played. You didn't really know Dave was there apart from his ponytail flopping in the wind.
You hear it swishing in the background.
But it does make a difference.
Manchester United attack now, almost level with the edge of the Arsenal penalty area with the young full-back Raphael. He's got support over on that far side from Darren Fletcher. Fletcher tries to poke it in towards Nani, but Arsenal come away with it now. Up and over the halfway line, it's Gael Clichy, and Clichy now into the United half, forward towards Arshavin, edge of the penalty area, left-hand side. Wes Brown goes across, 10 yards from the byline. Oh, just got away from Arshavin. United, 2 defenders on him, still can't get the ball off the little Russian. He has it at his feet, he's facing the defenders now, into the penalty area, curls the cross in, and it's 2 yards behind Thomas Rosicky, and it finally slowly rolls out of play nearer the corner flag than the goal.
I was just watching Danielson then when Arshavin had the ball on the edge of the box. He cut inside and there was a position for him to cross, and Danielson decided to go in the box, and then for some unknown reason thought, that's not what normally I do, I'll have to go back to my position, turned round and almost walked out the box, and the ball came in the box in the end, and there was no Arsenal players anywhere near the ball.
makes a difference
Take a
to
chance.
Arsenal, doesn't it, having Alex Song back in the heart of that midfield? I mean, he really has come on a bundle this season.
Yeah, he's. I think, well, certainly for me, I watched him a lot, and I wasn't quite sure that defensively he had the attributes to play there, but
he's really stepped up, hasn't he?
This last year or so, 18 months, he's been absolutely brilliant.
32 minutes played here at the Emirates. That's the voice of Lee Dixon, who's watching the match with us here today on 5 Live Sport. Arsenal 0, Manchester United 0. United's captain for the day, Patrice Evra, barging and bustling his way forward in towards Rooney, lays it on Scholes, can't quite get there, and sliced away by Gael Clichy. Then passed to the right hand side by Carrick. Nani, level with the edge of the penalty area, just keeps the ball in play, faced by Clichy. Nasri goes back to double up, brilliant play by Nani. He's beaten 3 men to the byline, chips it into the penalty area, at the far post it's in. Manchester United have the lead. It's absolutely fantastic from Nani. That was utterly brilliant play as he played it into the centre, and Park Ji-sung was there right underneath the crossbar. 33 minutes played. It's Arsenal 0, Manchester United 1.
What a fabulous run from the winger. The ball went really wide to the touchline. He took his fullback on, and then he had cover, the fullback, and he cut inside, and he takes another one on. Fabregas can't make a tackle, and as he dinked it over the goalkeeper, he's actually scored. I don't think that'd be down to an own goal from Almunia.
Almunia puts it into the net. I don't think it was going in. Almunia inadvertently handles it into the back of the net. Park Ji-sung was there, put his boot right up against the post to make sure, but I think the ball goes in off the post. I don't think Park Ji-sung gets a touch. But the key to the goal, or the main headline point to it, was the brilliance of Nani.
Well, he took his winger on, he took the defender on, and in the end, when Fabregas came, he was already inside the box, so he couldn't make the tackle. Went outside, and a great little dink to the far post. You get really close to the goal on the byline, you have to go far post. He lifted it over, and Almunia's diving back, and it's you've got to put that down to an own goal. I'd like to give it Nani for the skill, but I don't think it was going in, and Almunia's just tried to fist it over, or push it over the bar, and pushed it into the far corner of the net.
Well, Nani's had his problems this season, some injury problems, and also, although he has been out through injuries, also effectively been sent to Siberia for a while by his manager, I think. But he's back now. He came back for the Burnley game a couple of weeks ago. It was his first Premier League appearance since the back end of October, I think, and he's started to appear more regularly. He seems happier, and he's back on track, and he's now starting to perform with something like a measure of consistency, which has distinctly been absent. Not a very good clearance by Edwin van der Sar. 34 minutes played here, 11 to go to half-time. Arsenal, who played some nice football, how often have we said that? 0, Manchester United 1. Some smashing play by Nani on the right-hand side, which was just flicked against the post and into the net by Manuel Almunia. Scholes tussles for it, 10 yards inside the Arsenal half, and is adjudged to have fouled Song. It'll be an Arsenal free kick, and I just get the feeling that Almunia is still quietly seething away to our left about that goal.
Well, it was one of those balls that he had to be in the position, he had to be near post, because he was covering that area of the goal, and when it was just the quality of the ball over his head. He's dived back. You say it's a mistake, but I don't,
his touch didn't really take it, didn't divert the ball by more than half a ball's width.
So should we give it Nani then? What should we do?
We'll have a big chit
Let's
chat
give
about
it
it at
Nani.
half-time. I think Nani deserves it for the way that he played.
Not that it's up to us, but...
No, but he deserved it, didn't he?
He certainly did. It was a great bit of skill.
Now, can Arsenal do something about it before half-time? Manchester United have never won at this stadium in the league. Only won one of the last 9 league visits to Arsenal. It was 5 years ago, almost to the day, that they won 4-2. That was their only victory here in recent years in the league. And Arsenal on the attack. United with that slender 1-0 lead. Fabregas away to the left-hand side. Nasri near the left-hand angle of the penalty area, 3 or 4 yards outside the box, rolls it in towards the centre, then flicked up in the air by Danielson. Easy header away for Johnny Evans. Nobody within about 5 yards of him. It's back towards Alex Song. Song to the right-hand side, and Bakary Sagna crosses the ball. It's beyond everyone, and then Raphael, I think, lost his bearings for a minute there and has a little conversation with his goalkeeper and heads the ball behind for a corner.
Sometimes the language barrier can be a problem in modern day football, but I think from that one, that was quite simple here. Goalkeepers would just say leave it.
Arsenal have taken the corner quickly. Fabregas into the penalty area, left-hand side, drills it in on. It just goes away from Gallas. It was cleared away on the edge of the 6-yard box, and it was about 2 yards away from William Gallas, who couldn't turn it in. He's played it back into the penalty area. Arshavin twists and turns, and Gallas now tries to get through, and there's a black wall of Manchester United players there with Carrick and Scholes and Evra and Evans there, and now United break, and it's Nani. Fast, deep into the Arsenal half, up to the edge of the penalty area, slides it into Rooney, 2-0! Oh, what a fantastic goal by Manchester United! They turn defence into attack in a matter of seconds. That's the play of champions. That's the goal that gives Manchester United a 2-0 lead, and it's the man of the moment, Wayne Rooney, who scored the goal here with 37 minutes played in the first half. What a long way back for Arsenal already.
Wow, what a piece of footballing genius from Wayne Rooney. He picked the ball up, way in his own half, held the ball up, saw Nani, he pinged the ball out, and he's made, what, 40, 50-yard run. There was 3-4 Arsenal defenders goal side of him when he started the run, and he beat all of them to the ball. Great little ball in from Nani, and what a finish. The guy, I said to you before, when he's quiet, that's when you want to be careful of him. And that is absolutely outstanding goal from a man in top form.
4 goals against Hull last weekend, and the winner in injury time against Manchester City in that Carling Cup semi-final, and now a really good goal for Manchester United. 2 smashing strikes from them, and Arsenal suddenly have so much to do in this match, and Arsene Wenger, it looks as if someone's just deflated him. He's lounging back in his chair as Arshavin has a great chance from 12 yards, and he puts it wide of the goal and lays on his back, not believing that he's got hasn't got his team at least a foothold in the game. And no wonder Sir Alex Ferguson is out to the edge of the technical area. That goal from Wayne Rooney, his 100th Premier League goal.
Well, it was a bit sloppy there from Manchester United. That's why Alex Ferguson's going mad. Evra just took his eye off the ball, and Arshavin was fed the ball inside the box, and he should have done better really. He was falling away from the ball, but he should have hit the target. They've got a mountain to climb now, because Man United look in complete control.
I don't want to be a spoil sport, but as an Englishman, I just think Rooney's playing so well. How on earth can he keep playing as well as this for the next 6 months?
Well, I think he can, though. He's the type of player, I don't think he's one of those players that you rest. He's got an infectious personality on the pitch. He's playing so well. Don't rest him. Don't give him the England captaincy. Just go on, let him play.
He's got enough to be getting along with, hasn't he, without the captaincy? But Manchester United have got a free kick. Song committing a foul. He'll perhaps need to be a little careful, having already gone in the referee's notebook. And Manchester United with a free kick now, just a few yards in front of the centre circle, and Arsene Wenger sits there rubbing his hands together, looking very grim-faced, just wondering how his team can get themselves out of this hole here. Arsenal have been on a great run, 10 matches without defeat, to haul themselves back into the title race, but it was back in November that they last lost. It was here when Chelsea won by 3-0, and that must have, on that day, it looked a very demoralising day for Arsenal, and you wondered how they would get back into the title race. But they have. Are they now going to drop out of it again over the next few days? It's a big, big week for Arsenal. Manchester United in possession now with Nani. Nani back to his goalkeeper. Van der Sar clears it first time, with Gaël Clichy closing down on him. 20-5 here on 5 Live. Arsenal 0, Manchester United 2, with 5 minutes to go to half-time. Can Arsenal get a goal back to at least give themselves something to work with into the second half? Sagna heads the ball back into play on the halfway line. It's with Rosicky, playing it square now towards Song. Song rolling it forward. Good interception by Evra. Really had to stretch there. Now played high and long by Michael Carrick. Up towards Rooney, who chests it down. He brushes off William Gallas. Rooney all over it. Up to the edge of the penalty area. Good tackle coming in from Song. Reclaims the ball. Rooney gets it back of him. Then crosses into the centre. Great chance for Scholes. Leaves it for Nani. He shoots and he puts it wide. What a chance for 3-0. And it really would have been game, set and match to Manchester United had they scored there. But that was all about the persistence and the brilliance of Rooney.
It was all about that, and it was all about really bad defending from Arsenal. They first let him chest the ball down on the edge of the box. Gallas should have won the header. Then Song got involved and won the ball back. Then he gave it back to Rooney, but fair play to him, he never gave up. And when he pulled the ball back, I think it was Nani who had the shot. They were complaining that it should have been a corner, but he really should have hit the target and scored there, and the game would have been over.
Well, that was a let-off for Arsenal,
very much so, yeah. Poor defending. They look a little bit desperate now. They've gone a bit ragged since the second goal in, which you can understand, but they've just got to keep the composure, and half-time's round the corner.
Just looks like it's taken away their focus a bit.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, they haven't really played that well in the first half. There's been no real threat up front in the end, and although they've had quite a bit of the ball in midfield, United have been really patient, we said before, are they going to get people forward to support Rooney? And in the end, Nani, bit of magic from Nani and Rooney himself. They didn't need to get anybody else forward.
Sagna on the right-hand side. We're deep inside the Manchester United half. Fabregas up towards the D edge of the penalty area, and Arsenal trying to do what they do so often, those little intricate passes, and there is a wall of black-shirted players who are just not going to be beaten today, it would seem. Arsenal just... It's great to watch, but it has to be inch perfect to work.
Well, when you get a defence that basically withdraws to the 18-yard line, you've got midfield players in front. The only way round that is to go round it, not through the middle of it, and that's what Arsenal are doing. They try to play the little balls and 1-2s, and Manchester United find it easy to defend, and they need to get some width in the play and get round the back four.
5 Live Sport. We've got 3 minutes to go to half-time here. Arsenal trailing 2-0 to Manchester United, and Nasri brushed off the ball by Nani. Nani's confidence is flowing through his veins now after that brilliant run and the first goal for Manchester United. Arsenal clear the ball with Danielson away to Nasri. Nasri with line boots up towards the halfway line. He's got support on the overlap from Gael Clichy. Clichy in possession now. Cuts in field, midway inside the United half, then pokes it forward down towards the corner flag. Nasri chases, Darren Fletcher goes across and makes sure he doesn't really have much room to manoeuvre in, and Nasri turns the ball behind. Fletcher was hoping that it was going to be a goal kick, but Chris Foy, the referee, says it's a corner to the home team.
No, it was a good decision. It came off Fletcher's foot and it was a corner, and it'd be a big corner this could be for Arsenal. They can get their big men up and threaten the goal.
Over comes the ball, it's heading towards Gallas, but the big tall figure of Edwin van der Sar gathers the ball, and nobody challenged him.
Again, it's a good position, a corner. We had a free kick before, Fabregas wasted it with a poor corner, and that time we got a 6'5" goalkeeper. Keep the ball either before or after.
Arshavin makes a challenge on Van der Sar as he clears the ball from the right-hand edge of the penalty area. Van der Sar goes down as though he has been caught by Arshavin, who tried to block the clearance, as though maybe he caught him on his right foot as he tried to clear it. He's hobbling around the United goalkeeper, and Chris Foy, the referee, has stopped the game and is now wandering back to have a word with him, and Arshavin is going to be spoken to. The pair of them will sort it out, and hopefully we'll have a sensible piece of refereeing.
Well,
here.
We have done. It'll be a free kick. I don't think there's anything the centre forward can do there. As the goalkeeper's going to clear the ball, as a player, you have to try and block the clearance. So he's put his foot up. We'll just see it again. We're just going to see it again. He puts his foot up, and Van der Sar kicks the bottom of his foot. And I just think that, give a free kick, but nothing else. And that's all, to be fair, that's all that's happened. It's us that are getting excited about it.
Van der Sar was really bleating about it, wasn't he? But anyway, he's winning 2-0, so he should be happy.
He's all right.
His foot's okay now, and he clears the ball high and long, deep inside the Arsenal half. Rooney's there. We're in the final minute of the opening 45 here, and what an opening 45 in some respects. Nani on the right-hand side. He's absolutely loving it now. It's showtime, but the ball has gone out, and United will have a throw.
We have to say, up until now, I think Manchester United have got it right. A few of the press lads before the game were a bit surprised by the team selection, saying it's not very adventurous for Manchester United and this and that. But ultimately, they've got the game plan right. They've flooded the midfield and they've got support, albeit in the odd one here and there when they've needed to. And they've relied on a bit of brilliance twice to go 2-0 up, and they're pretty comfortable.
And the ability to get from one end of the field to the other in about 0.4 seconds. Ball played in from Raphael, headed away, ball breaking loose, and a shot coming in from 25 yards right of centre from Michael Carrick, which goes behind. 2 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. Sir Alex Ferguson, clearly when they go into half-time, is going to be more than happy with what he's seen so far, Lee. But, so. I mean, if you're Arsene Wenger, what are you thinking? I mean, would he take action at this point, or...? I
think he has to, because you've got to get back into the game, and they don't seem to be able to pass through Man United, so you've got to have a different option. That other option is obviously Bentner maybe off the bench, to have somebody up front to threaten the two centre-backs and give them something a little bit more than Arshavin's given them, because for all his fast feet and everything, he's not really been in the game that much.
There's no physicality about Arsenal's attack at all, is there? They're not mixing it.
At the moment,
they're not mixing it. They're not giving Manchester United's defenders a little elbow in the ribs or anything to think about. Arsenal have possession with Fabregas. Fabregas along the floor into Thomas Rosicky. Rosicky tries to get away from Brown. It's towards Nasri on the left-hand side. We've nearly had one of our 2 minutes of added time here at the end of the first half. Rosicky on the 18-yard line. Fabregas back to Danielson. Now in towards Alex Song. And another pass and a little flick, and Song still going. He's just behind the penalty spot. He shoots, and he shoots wide. And it's a goal kick to Manchester United.
See, that's... We talked about not being able to get through the middle of them. They very nearly did there. It was so tight. A little flick from Fabregas, a little ricochet, and Song did well to get his shot away, but he was falling off balance, and that's probably, you'd say, probably Arsenal's best chance, which is saying a lot.
Well, Edwin van der Sar is going to take his time here with this kick. Thomas Kuszczak's been warming up just in case he gets an opportunity, but there's no chance of that. Edwin van der Sar's fine after his little kick with Arshavin, and he clears the ball. It comes down just over the halfway line. Rosicky tussling with Evra. Fabregas does well to turn away from Park Ji-sung and from Paul Scholes, and he's away from Darren Fletcher. Now laid off by Fabregas to the left-hand side. Space for Gael Clichy. Plays it forward. Fabregas continues his run. Raphael gets goal side. It's towards the corner flag on the left-hand side as Chris Foy blows the half-time whistle. And what a first half it's been. Groans and grumbles from the home supporters as the players trudge off at the break here. But Manchester United with a 2-0 lead. Individual brilliance from Nani on the right-hand side. A little flick of the finger from the goalkeeper Almunia, which ultimately helped it into the back of the net. And then a defence into attack goal. Brilliant breakaway goal. Finally put home by the most informed player in the whole country, Wayne Rooney. Manchester United looking good here, Lee.
They are. They've got the game plan right. They've flooded midfield. They're hitting Arsenal on the break. We know Arsenal are going to have a lot of the ball possession-wise, and they've been patient. And as I said, bit of brilliance, and then hit them on the break, and that second goal was a break to remember, and Rooney was absolutely brilliant in it.
Half-time, Arsenal 0, Manchester United 2.
And Simon, a big difference between 4-5-1 on paper and what it looks like in the pitch when you're winning 2-0 looks much more like a 4-3-3 from where I'm sitting.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was, I mean, Manchester United, those two goals were of the highest quality, weren't they? Brilliant play,
yeah.
Some super play from Nani on that right-hand side to just get away from three players, and it was at the most acute of angles as well, running in from that right-hand side. He was almost on the byline. And then the breakaway goal, Rooney involved in that build-up, and he just has that desire to keep going, doesn't he, and make sure he gets to anything in the penalty area, and he put it away superbly well. How
many times do we say started by Rooney, finished by Rooney, and that's what makes him almost unique. So many times he touches the ball in his own box, and his very next touch, Simon, is in the back of the net. Unbelievable. And I know a lot of people are thinking Lee Dixon's been a little bit of a meanie there, saying that it's an Almunia own goal and there's no way it can be given to Nani, but I can't tell you, I've examined it, and unfortunately you're bang right there. It's going to go down as an own goal, Lee. Nothing you can do about
that. We'll give it Nani, and then the people who give the goals out, whoever that is, will probably change it later tonight. Who does that anyway? Who is that man who does that?
Either Jimmy Hill or someone, I'm not sure. Just before we get your latest news, and also an update on the Africa Cup of Nations final, which kicked off at the same time between Ghana and Egypt. If I don't mention this before 6 o'clock, he's probably going to take me to court, so I'm going to do it now. As part of Sport Relief, Lee Dixon is involved in what I can only describe as a multi-marathon cycle. Tell me a little bit more.
Something like that, yeah. Lawrence Dallaglio caught me at a weak moment and asked me if I'd join him on the Dallaglio Bike Slam, which he's riding from all Six Nations grounds from Rome to Edinburgh. 5 legs. He asked me to do the first leg, which I'm now doing leg 1, leg 3 and leg 5, which adds up to about 1,500 kilometres on a bike, so I'm really looking forward to it. Start a week on Thursday. If anybody would like to sponsor me, that'd be great, on the www.justgiving.com website, and put my name in and you'll get my page, and all going to cancer research and Help the Heroes, which is a brilliant cause.
Should they just give you half the money since you're only doing half the cycling? What's that all about?
The reason why I'm only doing half is I've got to come back at the weekends to sit in football matches and talk to you.
Yeah, but if you were fully committed, you know, it's like, I know you're doing 1,500, which is admirable, but if it's 10 kilometres, you do the whole 10 kilometres, am I right?
Well, I tell you what, I'll take you out next week, me and you on the bike, and see if you can do 10 kilometres full stop.
I tell you what, you look more fit than Sol Campbell. Sitting there, I have to say, well done for the amount of work you must have be putting into that, because in all seriousness, a lot of cycling.
Hard. Yeah, I've got the cream and the Vaseline to prove it as well.
Good. Well, I'll give you whatever. 5p a mile. What's that? Is that a lot of money? Or I don't want to commit to too much. What's 5p a mile? I'll work it out. Let you know. Okay. We'll work out a lot more at half-time as well. I can't tell you. It's 0-0 at half-time. Ghana against Egypt in the Africa Cup of Nations final. Egypt looking to win their third in the row and make up for the upset of not qualifying for this summer's World Cup. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 live from the Emirates Stadium. It's Arsenal 0, Manchester United 2 at half-time. And let's get the latest news now with Harry Ritchie.
Online at bbc.co.uk/5live.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
A video of a British couple captured by Somali pirates last October has been released. In it, Paul and Rachel Chandler look gaunt and beg for help from the British government. Mrs. Chandler says she's being held apart from her husband and isn't being well treated. Our East Africa correspondent is Peter Greste.
The Chandlers are really struggling with the conditions at the moment. Clearly, the reports that we're getting from AFP suggest that this is not an easy time for them, that they are struggling, and that Mrs. Chandler in particular is finding it very difficult to cope.
Counter-terrorist police in northwest England say they've evidence of attempts to radicalise young children. They've given the BBC footage of a video found during a raid on a house in Manchester. It shows 3-year-olds holding a rifle and a revolver while an adult encourages them to kill the infidel. David Cameron says a Conservative government wouldn't make huge cuts to public spending in its first year.
We're not talking about swinging cuts, we're talking about making a start in reducing our deficit. If we have an election in May, the year is already underway, but you've got to make a start, we believe, in proving we're serious about getting this deficit down.
Labour have seized on the comments. They claim Tory plans for deeper, faster cuts are unravelling. 10 Americans arrested in Haiti on suspicion of child trafficking say they were only trying to help earthquake orphans. Haitian police say the group didn't have documents for the 33 children they were trying to take to the Dominican Republic. Martin McGuinness says he's hopeful that a deal can be reached on policing in Northern Ireland. The Deputy First Minister says there's been significant progress in the marathon talks between Sinn Féin and the Democratic Unionists. Negotiations are due to continue tomorrow at Hillsborough Castle near Belfast. And more than 5,000 competitors have braved the biting cold to attack an obstacle course dubbed the world's most dangerous taste of mental and physical pain. About 4,600 people completed the 24th annual Tough Guy event in Staffordshire. Around 600 dropped out before the finish. Travel now on the westbound carriageway of the M4 in Berkshire. A lane is blocked on the exit slip road and there are hazardous driving conditions due to surface water at junction 10. On the M40 southbound in Buckinghamshire, that's 1 mile west of High Wycombe, there's queuing traffic due to an accident now on the hard shoulder between junction 4 and junction 3. Police, though, say the carriageway may need to be closed off for a short while for the air ambulance. And on the M61 in Lancashire, 1 mile east of Preston, there are hazardous driving conditions due to ice and snow near junction 6. Harry Ritchie, 5 Live Travel.
Dear Curly Wee and Gussie Goose, dear Bagpuss and Professor Yaffle, dear Fathers Merrin and Caris,
Simon Mayo and Mark Kermode's film review.
Every Friday, Mark Kermode reviews the week's big film releases.
I came out of that film with a spring in my step and a song in my heart and a general, love of the world.
Maybe you were wrong and you just changed your mind.
I don't buy it. It's a conceit.
Maybe you just have a dark
and it doesn't
heart.
work. I'm just a realist.
Simon Mayo and Mark Kermode's film review. Fridays, 2 till 4.
Finished?
Yes.
It's 5 Live Sport with Colin Murray. If you've just tuned in, a very warm welcome to you. We're here at the Emirates Stadium. It's Arsenal 0, Manchester United 2 at half-time. Goals from Nani and Wayne Rooney has made up that scoreline. And another 4 o'clock kick-off. The one continent means the absolute world. The Africa Cup of Nations final. It's Ghana against Egypt. Let's get a half-time report now from Alex Capstick. Alex.
It's 0-0, Colin. A poor first half here in Luanda. Egypt have dominated possession, but so far unable to break down a disciplined Ghana. The best chance for Egypt came from a free kick which eluded the Ghanaian defence. 2 Egyptians, Matip and Hassan, were unmarked, close to goal, but neither was able to connect with the ball. On this evidence, the closing ceremony will be the most exciting thing of this match. On the pitch at half-time, it's 0-0.
And from Africa to Australia, unfortunately, earlier today, Andy Murray failed in his bid to win his first major title, but there's no shame in losing to the most successful singles player of all time. It was straight sets to Roger Federer, and Murray's been speaking to our tennis correspondent Jonathan Oberend.
Yeah, I was obviously disappointed. I would have liked to have taken it into 4 set, but wasn't to be. And it's been a great tournament, and I would have liked to have done a bit better tonight, but he played better.
Many players before you have been frustrated by Federer when the likes of Roddick has been unable to add to his 2003 US Open, for example. Do you think while he's still playing, it's going to make it just so tough for you other guys to get your hands on a major?
Well, I'm 22 years old. I got a long time, before, I'm not going to have any chances. I've got, at least 6-7 more years of doing it, and obviously Roger, makes it difficult, but I definitely still feel like I can win against him. There's no question about that. but I'm hoping that I've still, got a little bit of time to improve. I don't think you stop improving when you're my age, and I'll try and get better.
We saw how much it meant to you at the end. What was the overriding emotion that meant you couldn't complete your speech?
I was gutted at the end of the match. I obviously wanted to try and close that third set out, and yeah, like you say, I thought I could have won, and it was unfortunate. I told Roger before I went up, I was like, I don't think this speech is going to go particularly well, and I think it was more the way the match finished. There's I had a lot of chance in that third set. It was pretty emotional end to the match, and I think that was kind of what did it. But I apologised to him afterwards, and he's done the same thing a couple of times before, so that was it.
It's been a very positive tournament for you, though.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been very good couple of weeks. Great start to the year, and hopefully I can build on it.
Absolutely, a disappointing day, but such a bright future for Andy Murray. When Roger Federer says do live on television to the world, don't worry son, you're going to win your majors. There's one hell of a compliment. Now earlier today, in our first kick-off live here on BBC Radio 5 Live, it finished Manchester City 2, Portsmouth 0. Emmanuel Adebayor and Vincent Kompany with first half goals. This means City move up to 6th, level on points with Liverpool, 2 games in hand, don't forget, while Portsmouth of course remain bottom of the Premier League. The club's been forced to sell players, of course, to raise much needed funds, with Younes Kaboul rejoining Spurs yesterday, and afterwards the Pompey manager Avram Grant spoke to the BBC's Steve Bowyer, who asked Grant to clarify the current situation at the club.
I don't know, it's changing every hour, so I cannot say. I just can say, as everybody see, that the situation is not clear. We need to do something that the club will survive, because what's important is the club, is the team, is the fans. It's a city with a team. It's not like in London, team with a city. It's a city that one team belongs to them, and we need to do everything that it will stay, because I think also it's good for the English football.
And is that why you've lost players to survive for the club?
It's not good because when we are not in a good situation, it's not good that we lost players. I'm not happy with this. I didn't agree with this. I don't like it, but this is the situation, what we can do.
And some people have said you looked at your future this week. Can you tell the Portsmouth fans you're here to stay?
I say that the Portsmouth fans, that as long as I'm here, I'll do everything for the club. They are great, and we are doing the best. And me, I'm not the issue. The issue is the club. The issue is the fans. The issue is this city, and as long as we are here, we will do everything that the team will be in a good way.
You say as long as you're here, so you've no idea how long you're going to be here?
Who knows? Nobody knows. You know how long time Mancini will be here? Nobody knows. This is the life of a manager. Sometimes it's the decision of the club, sometimes it's the decision of the manager. I came here to build something. I'm still trying to do it.
Positively, can you bring in a player or two before the closing of the window?
That's what we're trying to do, but the embargo was lifted only a few days ago, and only for loan players. And I think the Premier League did a big mistake with this. Should have done that. They needed to give us equal chances. They didn't do it, and no matter if they're right or not about the reasons, I'm not happy from this. But we'll try to do our best. I hope tomorrow will not have another sanction or something like this.
And just finally to clear up on the goalkeepers, is David James likely to go to Stoke, and what's happening with Begovic?
Look, I read the papers like you. I don't know nothing more.
You really don't know?
No.
Unbelievable stuff from Avram Grant, speaking the truth there, but not what Portsmouth fans want to hear. Manchester City 2, Portsmouth 0. It finished earlier today. Manchester City didn't need to get out of first gear, bit of a non-event. Now earlier today, England Saxons beat Ireland A 17-13 at the Recreation Ground in Bath. 2 results in Rugby Union's LV Cup: Cardiff Blues 45, Newcastle 24, and London Irish 13, Harlequins 16. Their 2 final scores. 6:06 will be up after the Emirates today. Arsenal 0, Manchester United 2 at half-time. Spoonie, did you bother making notes, or are you just going to turn up and open the phone lines?
Well, we're just going to open the phone lines because there really is only one thing that we can talk about today, depending on how you want to look at it. Can John Terry remain as England captain? Now, the official word coming out of Manchester City today in support of teammate Wayne Bridge, they wore player T-shirts that said Team Bridge, and some of the players have gone even a step further than that, and on their BlackBerry mobile phones they've got Team Bridge as their icon, in their profile icon. So the support for Wayne Bridge has been massive, and I think that is the dilemma that faces Fabio Capello. How will the likes of Gareth Barry, Sean Wright-Phillips feel about sitting in a changing room with John Terry if he is still captain. All right, Wayne Bridge may be dispendable, but what about the other players? You can have your say at 6 o'clock, 0500 909 693.
Thank you very much, Spoonie. Very much looking forward to it. But listen to it on the way home. I'd just like to bring Mike Ingham back in at this stage, and just to reiterate what Spoonie touched on there, the Manchester City manager Roberto Mancini has revealed after the Portsmouth game that some of his players, including Gareth Barry, had been wearing shirts bearing the words Team Bridge in support of teammate Wayne Bridge. Mancini said, and I quote, "The players are very close to Wayne. He's a fantastic player and a good guy." It was a nice gesture. And just very quickly, with Mike kicking off our commentary for the first half, your reaction to that, because this is the reality of it, not just hypothetical.
Colin, all it does is underline everything I said an hour ago. I think you cannot have factions at the World Cup. There's no debate for me. At the moment, I don't see how John Terry can lead England.
Okay. Your comments much welcome on 6:06 at full time of our match here at the Emirates. It's Arsenal 0, Manchester United 2, and in a commentary box alongside Mike will be Simon Brotherton, is Lee Dixon. Mike, take it away.
Well, thank you. Actually, this is very much an action replay of the last time they played here in the Champions League, when Ronaldo destroyed Arsenal in the first half, and it was 2-0 at half-time, and it's really kind of, are you Ronaldo in disguise as far as Nani's concerned it, and I've never seen Nani play as well as that in the first 45 minutes. He's obviously had a rocket from Sir Alex Ferguson a few weeks ago, but my has he responded. It's a terrific performance from him on the right, and the second goal, by the way, was a little bit like the counter-attack when United scored here in the Champions League, even better in many ways when Ronaldo and Rooney counter-attacked for the third goal back in May. Today it was a wonderful counter-attack involving Nani, and then in the end a fantastic finish from the man in form, Wayne Rooney. So that's 100 Premier League goals now for Rooney, and the wheels turn full circle for him, because his first was against Arsenal, against David Seaman back in 2002 when he was an Everton player. Give you the lineups in a moment. What is Arsene Wenger going to do about this? He has to make rearrangements. He hasn't changed any of his personnel. He's got Bentner, he's got Walcott on the bench. The one area perhaps where he could get at Manchester United in the second half could still be at right back, where Raphael does have problems a few times, but now it's Song of Arsenal on a yellow card in the first half, finds Gallas. Arsenal 0, Manchester United 2. And remember, away to Chelsea next weekend. If they're not careful, Arsenal, they could be effectively out of the title race in the next 7 days. So Manchester United lead through Nani and Rooney. Rooney's 20th Premier League goal of this season, and the ball is down the line, and Arsenal guilty once more of gilding the lily a little bit, trying to walk the ball into the net. In comes the cross into the arms of Van der Sar, and before I give you the lineups, here's Lee Dixon for the first time.
That was better from Arsenal, a little overlap down the side, but I think Manchester United have got the tactics bang on. They let Arsenal have the ball and know they're going to hit them on the break. Other teams come to the Emirates and their passing game, Arsenal's passing game bypasses them, and they go 1-2, 3-0 down. But Manchester United defended really, really well. They've put those two banks of four, if you like, in front of Arsenal and said, come on, break us down. They've not been able to do that, and then they've just hit them on the break with some scintillating break football.
And now Nani's dispossessed to Nielsen, and it's Paul Scholes onto Rooney just inside the area. Arsenal at full stretch here. Scholes onto Rooney. The ball just won't come down for Rooney though, and in the end it's Sagna who dispossesses him. Arsenal again almost give the ball away. Rooney's just wincing with a bit of pain and now tumbles over inside the penalty area.
That'll be good.
Well,
he just took a knock in that challenge. It was a sort of knee-high challenge, and I think
he doesn't often go down, Wayne Rooney, so this must be painful.
Yeah,
he's going to get
the
trainer to look at him. And while he is being treated, the Arsenal lineup is Almunia, Sagna, Vermaelen, Gallas and Clichy, Denilson, Song, Radzicki, Fabregas, Nasri and Arshavin. The little people in particular up front there. Manchester United still treating the injured Rooney. Van der Sar, Raphael, Brown, Evans and Evra, who's the captain today. And this is where they really stand out. Having seen United a few times in recent weeks, Fletcher, Carrick and Scholes seem to be the best blend. Sir Alex Ferguson has been searching for that midfield ever since the Champions League final, really. But Fletcher, Carrick and Scholes are really solid. And then Nani and Park either side of Wayne Rooney. Still Rooney down on the ground.
Well, he's certainly been the pick out, the two wide players, Nani as opposed to Park. Park's worked quite hard, but the scintillating, dribbling skills of Nani have been a bit too much for Clichy down this left side. He's been out injured a while, and you sort of see him just a little bit yards short of pace, and when that happens and you've got a winger who's full of confidence as Nani is now, I think it's good management from Alex Ferguson to actually get a player to be playing this well after being out in the wilderness.
It's a corner to Manchester United. Rooney has to go off. Nani will take the corner, leading 2-0. It's a short corner into Park. Park back again to Nani. Nani has an opportunity to get this one in, and he doesn't in the end. And Arsenal now looking to break, but they've got a long way to go here as they try and support Rosicky. It's Fabregas. Can he inspire Arsenal back into this game? Fabregas is surrounded in midfield and loses the ball, and Manchester United back in possession. Of course, Arsenal were 2-0 down here against Bolton recently, came back to win the game. But with respect to Bolton, this is a slightly different task.
Playing a different team now, this United team, you wouldn't expect to lose this lead.
And now Nani goes into the centre in the way that Ronaldo used to. Finds Wayne Rooney, who's back on the field again. Rooney from the angle! Oh! Rooney saw his possibility from the angle, worked it in hard. Almunia juggles with the pace of the ball and makes the save.
Nothing wrong with his knee there, was there? Cutting his side and whipped a great ball. Nearly caught Almunia by surprise, but the goalkeeper did well in the end.
Arsenal went to the top of the Premier League recently, and then, slightly controversially, they lost a bit of momentum, many people thought, by playing a weakened side at Stoke in the FA Cup, got out of the winning habit, lost, and then, well, I suppose we'll only really know whether the momentum was truly lost in that game, by what happens over the next couple of weeks, really. Welcome to World Service, welcome to our 5 Live Sport commentary here at the Emirates Stadium, where we're wondering here from a neutral point of view whether Arsenal can prize a way back into this match. They are 2-0 down and being outplayed here by Manchester United. As Arsenal go forward in midfield, United snuff them out once more, and they're playing from left to right in the second half, Manchester United, and it's hit long by Fletcher, looking for the man of the match so far, Nani. But Arsenal tidy up and then put themselves under more pressure. The back pass from Danielson was unnecessary really to Clichy, and it's a throw into Arsenal, and Lee Dixon will just have a quick word with the folks from World Service and tell them what he thinks so far of this game.
Well, I think it won't be long before Arsene Wenger makes a change, because the system's not particularly working. Manchester United have worked it out and are playing defensively very sound and good on the break. I think Arsenal got to make changes up front, and I'd like to see Bentner come on, a bit of a focal point up front, and also Walcott with a threat of that pace behind the back four, try and stretch Manchester United the other way. They're very compact at the moment with that midfield three, as you mentioned, and they've got to somehow, just change the flow of the game. The fans are getting disappointed with how they're playing, they're getting frustrated. I think it's due for a change about now. Well, subs are actually warming up as well.
At the moment, Arshavin's playing on the left, and it's Fabregas in a more Rosicky in a more central position. But now it's William Gallas striding forward for Arsenal. Arsenal 0, Manchester United 2 at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal building with Nasri. It's charged down though, his ball in, and cleared on the volley by Evra, one of the French players playing today, being watched by the national coach Raymond Domenech. Here come United again. Carrick forward, looking for the run from Park. There's only Clichy back, and Nani is speeding down the right-hand side. If Park can see him, Park may go all the way, and he has gone all the way. He didn't need the help of Nani. Park decided, I'll take this one, and surely finishes Arsenal off, and perhaps finishes them off in the title race. It's Arsenal 0, Manchester United 3.
Well, we spoke about threatening behind the back four from Arsenal's point of view. United did that exactly. Runner from midfield, third man running, we call that, little layoff from the centre forward, and then Park made the run behind the back four, and it was a great little ball that put him in. If he hadn't have scored there was two players to the right of him who would have been, and one of them was Rooney and the other one was Nani, but he had the confidence to say, you know what, no one's going to come to me, I'll take the keeper on and I'll put it in the bottom of the corner of the net, and game over.
Well, now it really is shades of that Champions League game in May when it went into a 3-0 Manchester United lead before a late penalty from Robin van Persie. The transfer deadline tomorrow. Will Arsene Wenger now be provoked into making a late move? Because it's all been really here in front of him here today. Without Van Persie, with Bentner on the bench, and with Eduardo injured as well, they have really suffered today, in particular, not having a leader of the line. Lots of lovely talent to watch in midfield, all a little bit samey though, and it's Danielson now of Arsenal. Arsenal 0, Manchester United 3. The goals from Nani, Rooney and Park. Park, who was a goal scorer, remember, on that night in May when Manchester United overwhelmed Arsenal here in the Champions League. Song, back from the African Cup of Nations, finds Clichy near side the field. We have played only 8 minutes of the second half, and it's a long way back here now for Arsenal as Arshavin turns away from Wes Brown. They need to do something quickly here to Arsenal. Rosicky was fouled. Oh, no, he wasn't. Play on, says the referee. An advantage, perhaps. In came the challenge from Fletcher, but the referee happy for the game to continue. Clichy's ball in, flicked on at the near post. It won't come down for anyone in the red shirt for Arsenal. Fabregas goes in high. Jumping for the ball there in the penalty area was Vermaelen, who crept forward. Arsenal still press. Fabregas once more. 3-0 down here at home, Arsenal. 10 games unbeaten, remember, since Chelsea beat them. Shot from Fabregas is just over.
Good effort, long range, but when he made that shot, you look at the players around him from Manchester United's point of view. There's 7, 8, 9 black shirts all surrounding Fabregas. No real way through, and the only way through was a long range shot. Not a bad one. Took a slight deflection, should have been a corner, but the referee didn't see that, and it's just over the bar. But no real way through. That, as I said, the back four of United have been pretty stable and pretty solid all day, with that midfield in front of them working hard. They need to change it. I mean, Arsene Wenger's obviously, the subs are warming up. Doesn't seem to be any movement from, normally it's Pat Rice off the bench who sorts the subs out. He's still on his chair.
Of course, it was 5 days after the Champions League exit here, when in Manchester United's next match, I thought was a really pivotal game in their history, when they beat Manchester City at the weekend. But the goals from Ronaldo and Tevez on that day. Ronaldo threw a strop when he was substituted. Tevez made a protest to the directors, neither of them now wearing Manchester United colours, but not being missed here today. Nani really very much following in the footsteps here today of Cristiano Ronaldo, a real threat down the right-hand side. Rooney leading the line magnificently. Park very useful over on the left, has scored that third goal. And behind them, the three of Carrick, Fletcher and Scholes, absolutely dominating Cesc Fabregas and company.
We'll talk about the sort of lack of threat from Arsenal and how defensively United have played, how well they've played defensively. But ultimately, Arsenal, if they do lose this game 3-0 or even more, has been defensively, they've given 3 really poor goals away. Good skill from Nani, but he shouldn't have been able to get into the box like he did. And then the second goal was a great breakaway, but Arsenal had players back and just didn't pick up Rooney. And the third goal, pushing men forward, and defensively they had people back, they just didn't pick up the runner of Park.
Yeah, that's a good point, Lee. I mean, we are talking about the lack of options up front, but at the back they've been caught out, and now they're trying to go forward from the back, and Fabregas takes a shot, and Van der Sar drops on the ball in the nick of time to make the save. Comes right to the edge of his area, underarm throw to Carrick. Carrick moves it to the left-hand side, and Park. If you're just joining us on 5 Live Sport and World Service, Arsenal 0, Manchester United 3 at the Emirates Stadium. And Manchester United taking control in the first half through Nani, Rooney, and now in the second half a goal from Park. Nani's been outstanding, and now United once more moving through midfield, and Scholes in the centre circle. Carrick, again, looking for the best option. Carrick slides it to the right-hand side, tries to find Fletcher. Arsenal coming on the break, though, as Clichy had intercepted. Little flick from Arshavin, and Fabregas now needs support down the right-hand side, perhaps from Nasri, although he may go all the way. Then he lays the ball off to Nasri, and Nasri delayed with the cross in, and will now run across to the corner flag and just get there to try and send a ball in for Arsenal. Sagna now. Sagna back again. There's overplaying at times, though, Arsenal here. Now, tucked back now to Song. Song shot straight at the goalkeeper once more. And that's an easy one for Van der Sar.
Again, they've been forced to shoot from outside the box. A good little break, but United had players back, and in the end it come outside the box for Song to get a weak shot away. The problem they've got now is that they're going to have to push men forward and leave more gaps at the back. And when it was 0-0, they were leaving gaps at the back, and United exploited that. So you can see United scoring another couple at this rate.
Rooney to Scholes. Here come Manchester United once more, leading by 3-0. Park over on the left-hand side, taking on Sagna. Still Park. Park now works the ball back to Scholes, who's 10 yards behind him. Mike Phelan, Sir Alex Ferguson's assistant, is in the technical area at the moment, just trying to get a message over. Scholes now into feet to Fletcher. This is where United have control in that middle, then it's given away by Manchester United, but Arsenal can't get forward. Remember, Chelsea yesterday put the pressure on these two with the win at Burnley, and now it's Evra down the United left, trying to win a corner kick, and it drops to Almunia. It's gone behind for a corner, and remember, Chelsea play at Hull on Tuesday night in a game they have in hand. We're going to have Theo Walcott coming on in a moment for Arsenal. In the meantime, Nani, big fan club of United supporters over on the far side. I think they're United supporters. They're wearing green and gold. They must be United supporters. And Nani to take the corner, with Wes Brown at the near post, going forward, looking for a fourth, and it goes into Almunia though straight away. So let's switch back to the Africa Cup of Nations. Alex Capsticks watching the final today, of course, Egypt and Ghana. Alex.
30 minutes into the second half, it's still Egypt 0, Ghana 0, but at least Ghana have shown some attacking intent. Asamoah Gyan fired just over the bar from a free kick, their best effort so far. Then Dedi Ayew ended a decent move with a poor shot which went well wide. We've just had a strike from Hosni, the Egyptian striker, but that failed to trouble the goalkeeper. It's 0-0.
Thank you very much. Manchester United, of course, were unaffected by the African Cup of Nations. Arsenal were, though. In comes a cross for Arsenal. They've got Song back in the team. Overhead kick now from Arshavin. And here is Song trying to score! Just wide. Not a bad effort that time from Song, because he had a lot of United players around him. It's gone wide, and it's a goal kick to Manchester United.
Well, that's the key. He did have a lot of players around him, and they were all black shirts. That's why he had to rush his shot. But it was a good effort. Overhead kick from Arshavin to keep the ball alive. And when it bounced down, Song got a sort of a half volley away, and it squirted past Van der Sar's near post.
Well, Chelsea still to go to Old Trafford this season. Remember, they play Arsenal next weekend. You'll hear that on 5 Live. Manchester United against Chelsea is scheduled for the Easter weekend, in between legs of Champions League games. Still to be decided whether it's the Saturday or the Sunday in Easter. Depends on Europe, but that's coming up in April. And also in April, a certain game between Manchester City and Manchester United again in the Premier League. They've not finished yet, but here come Arsenal. Arsenal now with Clichy. 3-0 they trail. Walcott's about to come on. In comes the cross, too deep for Arsenal perhaps. Park is there for Manchester United and clears. So Theo Walcott to come on and try and use his pace here, but he's another smallish player coming into the team, and he's going to come on for Danielson.
Well, you just want to see him. He's got pace. Where do you want him to play? You want him to play right on the shoulder of the back four of Manchester United, any of them, whether he's down the middle, in the winger position. You just want him to threaten the space behind Manchester United's back four, because they've not done that the whole game. United have been really confident and haven't had any trouble defending what Arsenal have thrown at them in front of them. So it looks like he's gone on that right side, which I'd like to have seen him go down the middle and maybe threaten the two centre-backs, but he's playing a more... There he goes, he's just done a little spin, and that's a little threat for the back four of Man United to just look over the shoulder and see if he's gone in the hole.
Well, he's got just under half an hour here to try and help Arsenal back into this game. Looks like a lost cause though. Manchester United 3-0 up and coasting. Gallas now going into the Manchester United half. Fabregas takes over, looks for Walcott for the first time, but a poor pass from Fabregas.
He's quick, but he's not that quick.
Yeah, that's gone way away from Walcott, and a goal kick for Manchester United. It's a sort of reversal here, isn't it, in many ways, because we don't sit here many times and have a go at the Arsenal defence, do we, really?
No, I mean, the partnership of Gallas and Vermaelen has been absolutely brilliant since, well, ironically, since he lost the captaincy. Gallas, he's really sorted himself out, and the signing of Vermaelen has been a real good one. I think they've had a great partnership, but today they've been undone. They've pushed forward and they've left gaps down the side of him. The full-backs have been culprits as well.
Almunia, back pass from Song, which he deals with, almost finds Sir Alex Ferguson, who's prowling around there. Reluctant to show his technical expertise on the ball there, Ferguson. Ducked out of that one. It's a throw into Manchester United. Down the line towards Nani. Nani's given Clichy a torrid game, really, especially before the interval. And now Rosicky onto Fabregas. And he played him into trouble, really. United immediately win the ball. And that was not really thought through by Rosicky. Fabregas was immediately crowded out. They haven't given Fabregas a moment to dwell on the ball here. Much for the Arsenal fans and the management to ponder here. 3-0 down to Manchester United. And remember, they were well beaten here by Chelsea as well before Christmas. Rooney this time can't control the ball. and Song with his strength does well. Nani comes in from behind, and so he's going to be penalised for the challenge, and Arsenal take the kick and they find Gallas immediately. Now they've got Walcott available over on the right hand side. Sagna feeding Walcott. Arsenal 0, Manchester United 3. Fabregas, it's nudged on again to Walcott. Arsenal have to do something quickly here. Walcott galloping forward, didn't really have the ball under control, but in the end wins the corner kick off Evans.
He didn't need to, Mike. It was a threat, and they haven't had that before. He threatened the back of the Man United back four, and they give a corner away.
And the corner's been taken short, and Sagna now will drive the ball in from the right hand side, but can't clear the head of Evra. Back again to Sagna. Arsenal 0, Manchester United 3. Now Song trying to work something. It's Fabregas on the edge of the United area, and again the shot is driven well wide by Arsenal for another Manchester United goal kick. 18.5 minutes gone.
You have to ask yourself why they're shooting from that distance, and it's because they have to. They haven't really got any options unless they get the ball wide, which they didn't there. They took a short corner, and in the end it was another shot from maybe 15 yards further out than it should have been. They're running out of options.
Well, reminding you of the position in the Premier League, it looks like it's going to be Manchester United tonight on 53 points, a point behind Chelsea, but having played a game more. Chelsea playing in midweek against Hull, remember, and then Arsenal back on 49 points, are losing ground here. And if it's defeat today, and it looks like it's going to be, then you feel they have to go to Stamford Bridge next Sunday afternoon and win that game. They've won there before, but it really is a tall order. Here today, Arsenal 0, Manchester United 3, nearly 20 minutes gone in the second half. Raphael with his left foot this time, and United obviously coming into this game really lifted by what they did in the Carling Cup. So you see what happens in cup football sometimes can have a knock-on effect into the Premier League, and I still feel Arsenal lost a bit of momentum going so well and then making all the changes and losing the game at Stoke in the FA Cup. That's just a personal view, no more than that. And now it's Alex Song turning away from his marker, but a great Evans intercepted, then was fouled, and it's a free kick to Manchester United.
Well, if they do lose the game today and then get beat at Stamford Bridge next week, he'll wish he took that Stoke game a little bit more seriously.
Yes. Only Fabregas really, who's a guaranteed first choice player, started in that game against Stoke, and they ended up being well beaten in that match, and it never helps really to lose a match, whatever team you've got out. And now it's Nani of Manchester United, different player today. This time it's a poor one in from him, one of his rare poor balls. And now Arsenal, Walcott a little slow to react over on the far side as Evra came steaming in, and Walcott in the end will have to give the ball back to Almunia, and that's a really rusty clearance by Almunia, underlying the tension really surrounding this Arsenal team to the far side.
Is that where we want to see Walcott playing it right
back?
That's not where I thought he'd come on and play, but he's ended up trying to clear a ball at right back. He should be at the top of the pitch.
Scholes and Carrick and Fletcher absolutely monopolising that middle area. Arsenal struggling to get the ball. United haven't missed Ferdinand and Visic here today. Brown and Evans have just moved smoothly through the match, and it's a throw to Manchester United. And Raphael, who's not really been tested that much in the second half, takes the throw in for Manchester United. Fletcher's return ball wasn't great. Arsenal have it, but there's not much on here for Nasri in front of us, and Nasri does well to go through the challenge from Fletcher. Fabregas turns under pressure immediately from Scholes, and the pressure paid off because United's midfield have it again, and it's that workaholic Fletcher down the right. This time he's denied by Fabregas, but United still retain possession. And Michael Carrick now onto Scholes, and Carrick and the Arsenal fans in front of us getting frustrated by the minute here. 3-0 they trail as we move towards the halfway point in the second half. The goal from Park really does seem to have finished the game off. Carrick now to Park once more. Park onto Rooney, edge of the area, boxed in a bit, tried to find Paul Scholes in the end, but Sagna clears, and then there's a foul on Arshavin over on the far side by Evans, and that'll give Arsenal a free kick. But there's really not a lot of encouragement here, and still Nicholas Bentner, who might have been an option for Arsene Wenger, sits on the bench. Rosicky now moves in from the near touchline. It's on to Arshavin. Arshavin was fouled by Scholes. Caught Arshavin, and it was a bit cynical that by Paul Scholes. A little lucky perhaps to get away completely without a card. Referee's calling him over, and that's a last warning for him, I think. Halfway point of the second half. 3-0 to Manchester United, very much in the driving seat here. And here's Simon Brotherton.
Thank you, Mike. Free kick taken quickly by Fabregas into the penalty area, cleared away and out of play. It's an Arsenal throw on the left-hand side. Lee, this is just like being back in November watching Arsenal play at home to Chelsea.
Do you know what? I'm going to make a really rash statement now and say I reckon I could play in that Manchester United back four today, because they've not really been threatened at all behind them, and they've just stood there. And when Arshavin's been in front of them, one of them has gone tight and put him under pressure.
Fabregas into the penalty area, and ball breaks loose. Song goes for it. It's loose again. A United clear. It's all that bike training you've been doing. You're back on it again now, aren't you? You've got a taste for it once more. But I think you're right, Lee. As Manchester United break away, left-hand side, Park Ji-sung into the penalty area. Rooney on the left, drills the ball right across the face of the 6-yard box beyond Nani, who was waiting at the far post. And Manchester United, such a threat on the counter-attack. And again, what a demoralising afternoon for Arsenal. They recovered from their last one against Chelsea. You wondered how on earth they would recover from that, but once more, in a big game that really matters, Arsenal, who've looked so close to the top and so close to success, actually suddenly look a million miles away from it.
Well, ironically as well, they've got to get their season back on track at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea, so which is no worse place for that to go to, because obviously they're undefeated at home and a real force to be reckoned with again. And you have to say that it is a demoralising defeat. It's not over yet. There's 20 minutes to go. What am I talking about?
Corner for Arsenal right-hand side. Yeah, what are you talking about? Corner for Arsenal right-hand side. Headed back out. Nasri, shirt hanging out. Plays it towards the far side. Fabregas into the centre. Vermaelen goes up. It just skids off the back of his head and out of the penalty area. I think Arsenal are going to make another change in a moment. Bentner, I think, will come on. Ryan Giggs has been warming up for Manchester United as Rooney breaks away down the right-hand side, faced by Sanya, level with the edge of the penalty area, rolls it in towards Nani, and it was a desperate lunge there by Gaël Clichy, who did just enough for Arsenal to come away with the ball. The crowd getting on the home team's back a little bit here now. Very frustrated. Arsenal just not been in this second half, but now they attack. Walcott down near the corner flag on the right. He's hardly got anyone to aim at. He tries to pick out Rosicky. He finds him beyond the left-hand angle of the box. It's blocked by Raphael, and now the ball just rolls out of the penalty area near the byline. Rosicky tussling with Raphael. Into the penalty area he goes, lays it off just outside the area to Fabregas, who runs behind the D, plays it square away to the right-hand side, and it's long but just kept in play by Sanya. Sanya faced by Park Ji-sung, still has the ball, left-hand angle of the penalty area, curls across beyond everyone, no one there, there's no height, there's no physical presence for Arsenal, and it goes out of play. And Ryan Giggs is going to come on.
They just look so lacklustre. Even the pass then from Fabregas, it was a lazy pass out, no snap in the play. Obviously they're 3-0 down, but it's been like that from the kick-off. They've not really had that snap that they normally have in their passing. And as I said to you before, the one weakness of this side is that when they plan A doesn't work, and it works most of the time, that passing game, they don't really have a plan B. And I'm surprised that Bentner hasn't come on and gone up front, and Walcott playing off him with Arshavin all around and putting some threat behind. And it looks like there's going to be another substitution, and it's Eboué.
Scholes has come off to be replaced by Ryan Giggs for Manchester United, and now Eboué is going to come on for Arsenal, back from the Africa Cup of Nations, and he will come on to replace Thomas Rosicky.
And indeed Bentner's coming on as well, so there is going to be a focal point of him up front. He's coming back from injury. Can he change the way that Arsenal are playing at the moment? Because as I said before, and I'm going to make another rash, mate, I think Colin Murphy could play Man United's back four as well. Me and Colin at the back for Man U.
Ball not in play at the moment because we're still waiting for Bentner to come on. He's going to replace Sanya, who comes running across towards the near side, taking off his woolly gloves.
Did I just call him Colin Murphy?
I think you did, but I wasn't sure, so I didn't go. I'm thinking, was he a famous Manchester United player from a long, long time ago that I've forgotten about? And no, he wasn't. I think Colin Murray could as well, don't you?
Yeah, that's him. Murray, Murphy, whoever.
Ball on the halfway line. It goes right in front of Mike Phelan, standing in the Manchester United technical area. Breaks loose, and Clichy forward over the halfway line. Wes Brown now launches it forward, and Clichy heads it back into the centre. Clichy missed quite a lot of time, didn't he, with an injury earlier in the season. He's only been back for a couple of weeks, and as good a player as he is, it looks like he's only been back a couple of weeks, doesn't it?
I think it takes you a couple of games, even though you've done all the work with the fitness coach, and you want a nice easy couple of games. You don't want Villa, Man United, Chelsea,
Rooney on the attack, 35 yards out in towards Giggs, and for once his control let him down. The ball just broke loose, and Vermaelen clears only as far as Fletcher, in towards Rooney. Rooney just outside the penalty area, blocked by Alex Song, and it just bobbles out of play on the near side, the Manchester United right. They've got a throw. United all in black, with a throw-in on the right-hand side, level with the edge of the penalty area, taken quickly by Nani. Nani forward towards Fletcher. Can United push on and get a fourth goal here? They're threatening, but Arsenal have it on the edge of their own penalty area, and Clichy with a chance to clear finds Alex Song, and now it's forward to Arshavin. Arshavin turns away from Fletcher into space now, collected by William Gallas. Gallas towards the right, and Arsenal over the halfway line, midway inside the Manchester United half. First touch for Eboué, and Eboué evades Park Ji-sung. A lunging tackle from Patrice Evra. Ball goes down. It's a corner to Arsenal. We're going to head to Luanda in just a moment, but we'll see how this corner goes for Arsenal first. We're going to get the latest on the Africa Cup of Nations final here, as Arsenal prepare to take a corner. Over it comes. It's not a great one. It's thumped high into the air, bounces just outside the penalty area on the right, and then wildly lashed across the field by Fabregas. Clichy comes across, sliding in his Raphael. It's out of play, so let's head off to Alex Capstick, who's watching Egypt and Ghana.
29 minutes of the second half played, Simon, still 0-0. The crowd have resorted to the Mexican wave, but the game is opening up. Ghana looking much more threatening going forward in this second half. Asamoah Gyan has just had his third shot sail just over the crossbar. Ahmed Matai was momentarily through on goal for Egypt, but lost control at a crucial moment. There was also a decent shout for a penalty as Egypt's Ahmed Hassan went down in the area, but it's 0-0.
Thanks, Alex. Manchester United attack. Oh, and it's a bad slip there by Eboué. And Rooney's up to the penalty area. He's into the box, left of centre. He shoots, and it's wide, and it stays at 3-0.
A great break from Rooney again, and I think it was Eboué who fell over. And it's hard enough staying on your feet against Rooney. If you want to fall over, you're giving yourself a real mountain to climb. But they just let him turn, and once he turns and runs at pace, very difficult to stop. And when he gets in the box, you can't make a tackle. And you perhaps say he should have perhaps done a bit better with the shot, just dragged it wide. Well,
Eboué's little turn and fall rather summed up Arsenal's second half here, and Arsenal's afternoon in general. Touch for Bentner, playing it away to the right-hand side, an interception made by Patrice Evra. 5 Live Sport and the World Service from the BBC. 15 minutes to go at the Emirates Stadium in London, where Manchester United are leading Arsenal by 3-0. The lines are open for 6:06. Book your call now to Spoonie and Gab Marcotti. 0500 909 693. Text 85058. The soapbox also is near the Emirates Stadium today in St Thomas's Road, so I think there'll be a big queue of Arsenal fans trying to get on air from that afterwards, as the ball's played into the centre and on the edge of the penalty area. Bentner heads the ball in the general direction of the goal, but doesn't force a save.
Well, when you're trying to head the ball in from the edge of the box, as it being a centre forward, you know there's something not quite right. They need to push the Manchester United team back as far as they can and get a quality cross in. That was poor, and that's, as you said, that summed up Arsenal today. They've not been right in all departments today. As opposed to that, Manchester United have got it tactics, performance-wise, absolutely bang on.
Manchester United traditionally, of course, a team who get better and better as the season wears on, and with those injured players, of whom there have been so many in this current campaign, slowly coming back into the side, you wouldn't bet against them pushing Chelsea all the way, would you now? And United surely will have a stronger second half to the season than the first.
Well, we said in downstairs in the press room, a few of the boys in there were sort of saying, I'm not too sure about this Man United side. I think we'll think Arsenal will beat them today, but when you looked at it, it was absolutely built for hitting a team on the break. You know, they've got legs in midfield, solid back four, Carrick, Fletcher in midfield. Let's see if we can break with Rooney and support him, and that's exactly what they've done.
And Walcott's lost the ball, and Evra runs forward midway inside the Arsenal half. It's with Rooney, tries to play it square. He's challenged by Thomas Vermaelen, and now Alex Song comes away with the ball. He rolls it through the centre circle to Arshavin. Arshavin forward towards Fabregas. Fabregas slides it into the penalty area. Bentner tussles and hustles and can't get past Wes Brown, and Sami Nasri didn't quite have the legs to collect the ball on the left-hand side either.
Sometimes it's contagious, and when your best player Fabregas plays a pass like that, totally overhit, too wide, had plenty of time to play the pass and hit a poor pass, and that again sums up how they've passed the ball as well today, which is their strength normally.
Well, Arsene Wenger saying that he realises that this 14-day period at the moment, the most intense and one of the most important in his whole tenure as Arsenal manager, and held at Aston Villa during the week, losing here. There's no way back as Fletcher surges forward. He's halted by Gaël Clichy and Samir Nasri, but this is not the time to lose form for Arsenal, because as you mentioned, Lee, it's Chelsea away next weekend, then Liverpool at home in 10 days time on the Wednesday night, and the next game after that, or very soon after that, is Porto away in the Champions League. That's the middle of the following week.
I forgot about all that lot starting again.
It's not very far away. 60,091, although it's hardly a trip into unknown territory for Arsenal, is it, playing Porto? It seems to be almost a regular fixture these days.
Yeah.
Ball's out of play on the far side, deep inside the Manchester United half, down near their own left corner flag. It's been taken by Patrice Evra. On the left wing, midway inside his own half, Rooney, big white number 10 on the back of his black shirt, forced back down towards that corner flag himself before hooking the ball away, but ultimately out of play. Arsenal with a throw. Taken quickly. Be quiet around the Emirates, apart from the corner occupied by the Manchester United supporters. Arsenal fans, I think, stunned again by what they've seen.
Most of them have gone home.
Yeah,
there's quite a few empty seats already. There's still 11 minutes to go.
Arshavin goes down, and Arsenal have a free kick. Can they get a goal before the end of the game to at least get a measure of respectability to the scoreline? Nasri on the left-hand side floats it into the centre. It's headed away. Shot comes in, and it's deflected in. And Arsenal do have a goal, as Thomas Vermaelen blasted the shot in. It clearly took a deflection on the way, and may have been off Johnny Evans, the Manchester United defender. And Arsenal do have a goal here with 11 minutes to go.
They went a bit sloppy, had a free kick, and Manchester United fell asleep, let them take a quick one to Nasri. And then as it got cleared, it was a good volley from Vermaelen, a diving sort of scissor kick to the left, but I think it hit Johnny Evans almost on the knee.
Yeah, it was Evans who just got his foot there. It would have hit Wes Brown if Evans hadn't swung his foot out. So it is an own goal, I think, perhaps, for Johnny Evans.
The player will say it was on target, so it's his goal, but again...
Ball forward by Giggs into the penalty area. Nani goes for it on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Arsenal shepherd it back to their goalkeeper.
People in higher positions will decide who scored that goal, I'm sure.
Yeah, but not very quickly, Lee. They seem to wait till they've got a whole batch of about half a dozen of them before they do it. Arsenal attack again. Fabregas playing it to the left-hand side. Nasri plays catch-up, gets to the ball. 10 yards from the byline, right-footed cross into the penalty area, easy header away for Wes Brown once again. But suddenly, those who've stayed are back into it here. The Arsenal supporters see a little bit of hope, but 10 minutes to go, it's still a tall order at 3-1 down here to Manchester United. Alex Song in possession for Arsenal, midway inside the United half. Support from Clichy wearing long sleeves to his left-hand side. Back to Song once again. It'll take a little bit of something special here to prise Manchester United open again. Fabregas in towards Arshavin. Arshavin, that busy little figure, right in the middle of the field, midway inside the Manchester United half. Faced by Michael Carrick at the moment. Oh, he's away from Carrick. Left him on the floor as well. And Arshavin's got support over on the far side, and his pass towards Eboué, one presumes, was awful because it was straight to Patrice Evra.
I'm not going to say that sums Arsenal up again by another bad pass, but they had good possession there, and Arshavin did well in midfield, beat Carrick. Simple ball out to the wide it should have been, to the wing for a cross in the box, but he just mishit it straight to the left back.
And to think it was quite a bright opening 20 minutes for Arsenal, wasn't it, with Arshavin nearly scoring a couple of times. They're on the attack again. Arshavin right hand edge of the penalty area, down to the byline, tries to get the ball across, and it's blocked in the end by Johnny Evans, and the roar will tell you that Arsenal have a corner on the right hand side.
Everybody's livened up, haven't they? All of a sudden Arsenal look like they might score a goal. We've got one corner.
Right-hand side,
big players.
Fabregas takes it, in it comes, it's headed goal, it's blocked by Evans, it doesn't quite fall for Bentner, and if it did, he got it caught between his feet, away to the left-hand side, on the floor. Bentner has the ball, watched and marked by Raphael. Bentner now into the penalty area. Arshavin tries a shot, and it's lashed away by Patrice Evra, high into the air. Eboué chests it down, 10 yards outside the area. Eboué still going, this is good play. Nasri pirouettes on the edge of the penalty area. Manchester United have so many players back that between them they get it clear, and now it's Rooney up against Song and Clichy. As Vermaelen tries to get back, Rooney waits for support. He gets it now from Fletcher. To the right, to Giggs. Giggs outside the penalty area, 10 yards outside the box. Nani fires a shot, nowhere near the goal, into the crowd, and it's a goal kick.
I was just going to say, one of the Manchester United coaching staff surely will be off the bench to have a word with Nani there, because he could have kept possession to give the ball back to Arsenal. Giggs was wide on the right. They could have just run the clock down, but he had a speculative shot, and now Arsenal are back on the attack.
Good block at the other end moments before by Johnny Evans, 2 or 3 yards from his goal, and it fell kindly for United because they were able to clear it with 2 or 3 Arsenal players nearby. Arsenal didn't get the luck of any bounces there inside the penalty area, but United on the attack now with Patrice Evra away to the left. 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. The Africa Cup of Nations final kicked off at the same time as this game, so probably not too long to go there in the 90 minutes in Luanda. 0-0 between Egypt and Ghana. No goals in that match. They will play to a finish, even if it takes extra time and penalties today in Angola. With Manchester United attacking and Arsenal now winning the ball back deep inside their own half. Ibue turning away from Park Ji-sung, still in possession but not getting anywhere, and then getting a ricochet off the Korean, which takes the ball out of play and gives Arsenal a throw-in down near their own corner flag on the right-hand side. But an immensely frustrating day for Arsenal supporters, you would sense, because yet again, you know, they've raised the hopes. Terrible clearance by Van der Sar. Nani with a great chance, and it's just finally turned away by Vermaelen. It was Almunia with a terrible clearance for Arsenal. Almunia inside his own penalty area in the 6-yard box. Terrible clearance along the ground, set Nani up, and it should have been a fourth.
It should have. It wasn't the best ball back to him, but I thought he had plenty of time just to take a touch and then clear it, but decided to try and hit it first time and had a full scuff at it. Straight to Nani on the edge of the box, and he perhaps should have done a lot better, and he was saved by Vermaelen, I think.
Got confused for a moment there. 2 goalkeepers, both all in green. Don't often see that these days. Corner, right-hand side, to be taken here by Ryan Giggs, and it was his cross that set up the winning goal for Rooney on Wednesday night against Manchester City in the Carling Cup semi-final. Rooney waits in the centre. Now Giggs plays it short to the right-hand angle of the box, just outside the area actually, and Nani rides the tackle of Fabregas, flicks it into Park, down to the byline. Giggs with a chance to cross, and he nearly finds Rooney again. It was headed away by Vermaelen, and now Arsenal try and break. Just over 5 minutes Arsenal have to score 2 goals if they're to get a draw here against Manchester United. 3-1 United lead, and they're going to make 2 changes shortly, with Antonio Valencia and Dimitar Berbatov getting stripped for action. Arsenal attack left-hand side with Arshavin, pokes the ball one way, runs around Raphael the other, and Raphael goes sliding in and concedes a corner.
Did really well, the young fullback there. Arshavin always likes to play that little ball round you, and he's so quick he can get the other side of you. But the young fullback read it well. A corner to Arsenal.
Corner left-hand side from Fabregas. It's high up to and beyond the far post, headed towards the goal, cleared off the line, and United scoop it away into the air, and it bounces down towards the near side, midway inside the Manchester United half on the Arsenal left, and Clichy puts it in high again. Bentner goes up with Van der Sar, but Van der Sar decisively winning the ball, throwing it out straight away towards Park Ji-sung, finding Rooney on the halfway line. Rooney turns and curls a lovely pass towards Nani on the right-hand angle of the penalty area. United really threatening here. Nani in towards Giggs, and it's cleared away by Vermaelen, who says he was fouled. Manchester United are going to have a corner. There's a goal in the final of the Africa Cup of Nations. At last, Egypt against Ghana. Alex Capstick.
And it's gone to Egypt. Ghedo with a neat 1-2 in the penalty area, and then steering the ball past the Wigan Athletic goalkeeper Richard Kingston. It's his 5th goal of the tournament. All 5 goals have come on as a substitute. It's 1-0 to Egypt.
Thanks, Alex. And Manchester United are going to make a change here with 4 minutes to go, just before they take a corner. Luis Antonio Valencia preparing to come on, and United taking all sorts of time about it. The referee now comes running across and suggests to Park Ji-sung that actually he needs to get a bit of a move on, and he breaks out into a slight jog.
Let's call that a jog.
Slight.
I don't blame him.
A bit of a jog.
He's put a lot of work in, to be fair to him. He's probably a bit tired, so Alex Ferguson giving him the low 5 if you like, handshake.
He likes playing here, doesn't he? He scored that goal in the Champions League semi-final and got a good goal today as well. United with a corner taken by Giggs, back to Nani, right-hand side, level with the edge of the penalty area, a couple of yards in from the touchline, tries to get the cross in, and he was challenged by Fabregas, and it skews wide. It's caught by Almunia, who gets rid of the ball quickly, and time's really ticking away here. 3 minutes to go. Manchester United on the verge of a big win in the race for the title, which would take them to within 1 point of Chelsea. 2 first-half goals, one from Nani, helped by Almunia into the net. Almunia will be credited with an own goal that he doesn't want. Rooney with the second, classic counter-attacking goal, and Park Ji-sung with the third, shortly after half-time. Arsenal, for the most part, outfought, outplayed, and well beaten here today by their title rivals.
I think tactically they've been outthought. Certainly, I think they've got it perfectly right, the way to play Arsenal at home. You know, they flood the midfield, and you've got some quality in there that can break at pace, which Man United have, and be solid as a back four and get protection in front of you. It's exactly what they've done.
Cross in from the right hand side, beyond the far post. Raphael's there, heads it behind. Arsenal have another corner. Time still ticking away, just a couple of minutes remaining of the 90. Arsenal have taken that corner on their left, very short. They've taken it too quickly for Chris Foy, the referee, who says the ball was still rolling. And Fabregas has to do it again, and once more he takes it quickly. And it's a bit of a stretch for Arshavin to get it. He tries to blast a shot in, takes a little deflection. Bentner turns on the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's cleared away by Darren Fletcher up to the halfway line, where Clichy's under pressure from Rooney here. You need to be careful the form that Rooney's in, and Rooney did get his foot in, but it's an Arsenal throw.
He's a pest, isn't he? From a defender's point of view, he never gives you a break. As soon as the ball's cleared, he's right on your tail, trying to hassle you, trying to get the ball off you. And I think he's really matured as a footballer all round. His temperament's better than it was. His work rate is absolutely fantastic. Never gives in, chases every lost cause. And then you forget about when you talk about him like that, you forget about he's probably got one of the best touches control-wise in English football.
Nani has just gone off to be replaced by Dimitar Berbatov, who has all of 90 seconds or so to try and make a mark on the game.
Getting his appearance money.
Yes. Fabregas won't help his stats any though, will it? Another appearance probably without a goal. Yeah. Right hand side, Eboué chips it into the penalty area and volleyed away by Wes Brown, 4 yards in front of the goal line. Back out towards Alex Song. We're into the last minute here. Arsenal 1, Manchester United 3 in Angola, the Africa Cup of Nations final. Egypt leading Ghana 1-0. Bentner plays the ball into the penalty area, headed up in the air the wrong way by Evans, and then headed well wide of the goal by Gallas. He was 6 yards out. It was a great chance, and he got it all wrong, and no wonder he kicks the post in frustration.
You have to say that's an open goal. All he's got to do is get any sort of a header on it over the top of Van der Sar, who's come off his line in no man's land. If he just lets it hit the top of his head, it pops over the goalkeeper in the goal, but he tried to get too much on it, and his frustration is taken out on the post, and it gives it a good kick.
He's got a decent record against United as well for a defender. Scored 3 goals against them during his career. He scored at both ends actually in this fixture a couple of seasons ago in that 2-2. And we're playing 5 minutes of added time here now. 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes for Arsenal to try and score 2 goals to deny Manchester United.
If that Gallas header had gone in then these last 5 minutes would have been really interesting, because you could say that Arsenal possibly could get something out of a game they don't deserve to, but they still need that second goal, and it's not looking like Man United are going to give that up.
Well, it would be quite something if Arsenal were to suddenly come back in this game, because they really have been second best, haven't they, Lee?
They don't deserve to. I think, as I said, Man United have got everything right today that Arsenal have got wrong, and the options that present themselves when Arsenal don't get their passing game, and you're playing against a good back four with a protection in front, they haven't had any options to change that.
Makes you wonder whether it's going to be another season without any silverware around here for Arsenal. And of course, as the years go by without winning anything and flattering to deceive time and time again, as time goes by, it will be harder to keep players like Fabregas, won't it?
Well, ultimately you have to say that, because he's an ambitious young man. He's only 22, but let's not write him off just yet.
Ball high, cleared by Van der Sar, bounces on the halfway line, brought under control by Fletcher. Rule up and under ball on the half volley up towards Antonio Valencia on the right hand side. Turns away from Gaël Clichy, who's got a new player to keep an eye on for these final moments here. Through the centre comes Ryan Giggs, up to the edge of the penalty area. The little deflection takes the ball back to Manuel Almunia. Almunia has the ball in his hands, edge of the penalty area, right-footed, clears it. Earlier today, Manchester City beat Portsmouth by 2-0. Egypt are leading Ghana 1-0 late on in the Africa Cup of Nations final. Potentially a big win here for Manchester United in the Premier League. 3-1 they lead, and they're on the attack again in added time at the end of the game. It's Rooney into the penalty area, cuts inside his man. He's got support from Berbatov and from Valencia, and he merely finds Eboué, and Arsenal will clear. Fabregas on the halfway line finds Arshavin, who tries to turn away from Raphael and from Fletcher, and finally Raphael wins it, and he just gets a boot from Arshavin, and it is pulled back by the referee Chris Foy.
It's just too easy to win the ball back off the Arsenal midfield players today. They've done it really well. Carrick, Fletcher, Now it's Giggs in there as well. They've hassled the ball. Whenever an Arsenal player's been on the ball, there's been someone there, and as I said, the back four has been protected.
Arshavin playing it forward, lovely ball towards Walcott. Walcott turns away from Wes Brown, and then his cross from the left-hand edge of the box goes sailing away towards the far edge of the field, and Bentner does really well to actually keep the ball in play, but only just, and Evra tackles him. It goes out. It's an Arsenal throw, a yard from the corner flag on the right-hand side, and there are plenty of empty red seats on view around the stadium here now, as Arsenal head towards their second home defeat of the season. A big home defeat here, with the ball played square by Bentner, 35 yards out towards Alex Song. Song finding Clichy. What a good day's work it's been for Manchester United. Clichy in towards the centre. Gallas has stayed up. It's headed away, and now Ryan Giggs will break. Leaves it there for Berbatov, supported by Rooney, just short of the halfway line, now over the halfway line. Rides a tackle from Song. Lovely ball to Valencia. Valencia's still going. Flag stays down. He's near the byline on the right. Squares it towards Berbatov. Berbatov on the left. Ball squirts away. Rooney has it. Great chance. Oh, and Rooney's put it wide. Wayne Rooney with a shot from just to the right of the penalty spot. Looked for the world as if it was going to be his second of the day, and Manchester United's fourth, but it's wide.
I have to say, how did he miss it? Because he did all the hard work. Berbatov got a block tackle on the 6-yard box. Rooney just dummied Song, and he had a free shot on goal. He's just dragged it wide. I think it was offside in the first place from Valencia, but the linesman chose not to give it, and Rooney will be looking at that thinking he should have had 101.
Well, it was that would have been the ultimate insult for Arsenal at the end of a very disappointing day for them, and it's finished in Luanda, 1-0 to Egypt in the Africa Cup of Nations final score there, and Ghana beaten in that final. Berbatov in possession, left-hand side for Manchester United, rolling the ball back. They're just knocking the ball around here, playing out the final few seconds of this match. How impressed... well, I'll ask you how impressed you've been with Manchester United in just a moment, Lee, because Valencia attacks down the right, just on the edge of the penalty area. It's an Arsenal free kick.
Well, you have to look at the team and say it's probably, it's not their strongest team, as it's not Arsenal's strongest team. They've both got a few injury problems, but the way they've set out today, the game plan of hitting on the break and that tight midfield, protecting a very, very strong, organised back four, I think they've got everything absolutely right today, Manchester United. And to be fair to Arsenal, they've been poor going forward, and certainly you look at the goals tonight on Match of the Day 2 and you'll see how poor they were defensively as well.
Chris Foy has blown the final whistle here. The Emirates Stadium is almost half empty already. Arsenal have been well beaten here by Manchester United. 3-1 the score, and United, having played a game more than Chelsea now, are just 1 point behind them in the race for the title.
What a result from Manchester United here in North London. We talked about key players, gentlemen, before the match started, and hindsight's a wonderful thing, but let's look back. Who were your star men there, Simon?
Star men for Manchester United. Rooney was good. Nani was superb. Nani actually produced the sort of performance that he's threatened to do but so often hasn't delivered. I think he made a real difference. It was a mixture, wasn't it? You've got the solidity and the sharpness of the Manchester United midfield, the main axis, the main three, with Carrick and Scholes in there alongside Fletcher, mixed in with that extra bit of flair from Park and from Nani, and the general brilliance and form of Rooney. He's a difference maker, isn't he?
Maybe a little bit of a forgotten man there, who played very well today in the form of Carrick. Everything going through him, directing a lot of people. The job I thought Fletcher might have done today. Carrick pulling a lot of strings, doing the simple things well.
I think all the midfield was great, but I think you're right. Carrick was just in there picking the ball up, nice and simple. But I think the two centre-backs played really well, although there wasn't an awful lot of threat from Arsenal. But you have to build from the back and be solid when you come to a place like this. And I thought Brown and Evans never really in any danger, but they organised everything in front of them really well.
If I was an Arsenal fan, though, I'd be feeling demoralised tonight, because again, in a big match that really matters, they've been taken to the cleaners, really. They've been well beaten here today. Chelsea did it at the end of November. For all that Arsenal have played some smashing football this season, yet again in a really big game, they've been a million miles away from getting anything out of it.
Well, they haven't turned up on this season, and on 5 Live on a Sunday we've witnessed them, and we've commentated on matches where Fabregas has been on another planet. Today he just seemed to be, his head seemed to be in another planet, because he just didn't turn up, did he?
I think you have to give a lot of credit to United for that. The way they played, they fizzled it out in midfield, and then they just hit them on the break. And when you're playing against some of the lesser teams here, and you play like that, and Fabregas and the passing's all great and everything, you go 1-0 up, 2-0 up, and they haven't got any threat to hit you back, that's fine, you win the game. But when you play in the top teams, Man United, and plan A isn't working, which it didn't today, you have to have a plan B. And you look at this side, they haven't got an option when their passing game is off.
Well, the window isn't shut and your day isn't finished. Stay with me, gentlemen, for a couple more minutes. Don't roll your eyes, Dixon. Let's
I've got to go to the studio now, do the analysis for MOTD.
I know. I tell you what, if it's based on how good the games were, you'll not be seeing much of Man City Portsmouth, that's for sure. Ghana, Egypt in the Africa Cup of Nations, not a classic.